I do like the under. I don't think they keep it within the number, though. I think you are going to see Notre Dame run all over Navy. I think it's going to get very ugly from the jump. I think the defense is going to lock them down. Yeah, give me the Snakes. I'll lay it today. I think Merrill Kelly pitches really well against them today, but I just think that bullpen is going to get destroyed.
Are you guys hearing what I'm hearing? Javon just took the meat out and faded his own squad. He's fading the Reds today. This is like Christmas. This is unbelievable. Chat, meat on tape tonight for the Commanders ML. I can't stress this enough. I will have a rack on them in the preseason. That's the most I'm going to put on a team in the preseason because it's preseason. But it's my favorite bet so far the NFL year. If you're not taking it, I can't help you. Football is here, ladies and gents, and you can make some serious coins responsibly on Commanders ML. What is going on, folks? W Goats are muted. BTL episode 309 piece. As always, hold the fry. Joined by your hosts, Krabs and Javon on this beautiful Friday afternoon. No surge stream today, Javon. We're taking over that elite time slot. Got to get the people some winners today while Trent and Co. are traveling to Bama.
Have to. Yeah, ready to do it.
100%. Chats, how about them Lions last night? My goodness. The Chiefs receivers, I mean, where'd they pick these guys up? Did they get DoorDash drivers playing receiver? I mean, that was ridiculous. I guess that's what happens when you pay a quarterback $500 million. You can't afford to pay receivers. Bye-bye Tyreek, bye-bye Super Bowls, although they made it happen last year. Definitely needs his guy, Travis Kelce, back. My goodness, Javon, that was a shit show last night for the Chiefs.
Yeah, they need him bad. Pat needs some help out there for sure. They were looking pretty embarrassing, to say the least.
Yes. And we already got a sub bang from D-Mart 123. That's what I'm talking about, my man. Let's go. Javon, I mean, look, man, Kadarius Toney needs to hang him up. I'm just going to say it. That guy's terrible. And he's been, a sleeper pick people want to talk about and take in fantasy football. He's been a guy who people want to bet for some reason on their props. I don't understand it. He's never done a single thing, and he literally has dick fingers.
Yeah, he's bad. Sky Moore barely even suited up, it seems like. Like a lot of these receivers just have not shown up. And, yeah, I mean, I bet Pat Mahomes kind of wishes he didn't exist on the field last night because then they probably would have made it a little more of a game. That 6 that we just saw wouldn't have happened. Not that his other wide receivers were doing much more realistically, but, yeah, they're bad.
I can't even imagine the type of DMs Kadarius Toney was getting. If the DMs I get are pretty bad with my Colorado future and some of my bets and angles, I can't even imagine what Kadarius's Tony feed looked like last night. And Javon, he deactivated his Twitter. He couldn't take it.
Yeah, I can only assume.
Take it. And then Sky Moore right up there with them. I mean, he was about just as useless. I don't know what the heck those guys were doing in camp, but they sure as heck weren't catching footballs.
Certainly weren't.
Goodness. How about the Lions? How about Coach Campbell? How about Jared Goff, who's undefeated against the Chiefs, 2-0? How about Jared Goff and the Lions going in there to Arrowhead and pulling out a crazy win on the road to start out the NFL season? My goodness.
Yeah, shout out to them. Even though I will say, again, another one of those where I think the Chiefs beat themselves quite a bit more than the Lions really looked good. But that's a massive win for them regardless.
Massive win. They move. Chiefs start the season 0-1. We know they're notoriously a little slow starters, mainly just on defense. We haven't seen the offense look that bad in week 1, I don't think, ever. But I still believe in that team, and I think they'll be fine. Usually it takes that team a couple weeks to kind of get in midseason form. Not a hot take, right? Andy Reid will get those boys in shape. Maybe they'll go out and get a receiver. Maybe Mike Evans will be on that team. That would be terrible for our Prize Picks futures.
He ain't going anywhere, man.
Okay.
He ain't getting traded.
How about this 4-piece? We crafted up on Night Sweats last night, Javon. Smacked.
Yeah, that was air.
Absolutely smacked, chat. 4-piece, hold the fry. If you guys weren't watching Night Sweats last night, what were you doing? We had over 500 people in there sweating out the opening night for NFL. We're going to be doing a whole lot more of that this entire season. So you guys, we got plenty of shows for you during the day talking about bets. You know, we got Behind the Line, Surge Stream. You got We'll Be Seeing, talking sports. And then we got Night Sweats to sweat out bets as well. A lot of content for this NFL season. If you guys aren't tapped in, that's pretty much the breakdown of what we got going on. So lock your bets in on BTL and Surge. Enjoy We'll Be Seeing and the squad down there. And then also sweat out your bets with the team on Night Sweats at night. I hope you guys joined us last night. I hope you guys cashed not only on the Lions or the under, which was free, by the way, but I hope you guys cashed on the squad ride, which also printed 4th squad ride in a row this week, Javon. Don't let it get hot. It might be too late.
Yeah, don't let it get hot. Shout out the Braves. Doing business for 2 days in a row. I guess 1 day in a row for most people, but 2 days in a row for the squad ride. So that was a little huge performance for them. Shout out the Tigers.
How about a little 3-piece sweep from Javon, Chad? How about that milk?
Yeah, 3rd of the week. Don't let me get hot.
That's some whole milk right there. 3rd time this week out of 4 where you fully swept the board.
Yeah, there we go. Baseball still prints. I know we got football back, but don't sleep on the diamond. Stay locked.
Don't forget about baseball. Don't forget about Javon's milk. Plain and simple. Okay, it's still printed. It's still there. It's still whole. Okay, and how about Travis Darno? How about you calling Travis Darno hitting a nuke last night on the Surge stream, and then it coming to fruition?
That's kind of funny.
Over 6 minutes.
They're talking about Riley being out. I was like, you know what? I don't care because it's Wainwright. A lot of these guys are fine. I'm like, you know, Travis Darno and Michael Harris, they can do the same stuff anyway, so we're good. And what do you know? Both of them go yard, and Darno is the one to cash the team total. So shout out to him. Rays legend.
Shout out to him. Shout out the squad ride, chat. If you guys aren't tailing the squad ride every day, grow up. What are you doing? You literally live under a rock, and you hate money. Nobody can dispute the squad ride being elite and an absolute cash cow in the betting community. And if you're not, responsibly betting that every single day, figure it out. Okay, throw it in your freaking card every single day as we get another sub bang from our guy Ron Muxclam giving out a sub to the community. That's my goat. We got K-Sav coming in with a sub bang. Juiced Crane coming in with a sub bang. Vibes are up on this Friday afternoon, folks. And yes, chat, I know there is a baseball game starting up in 10 minutes. I bet sports for a living. I know the game starts. We'll go over it right now. Arizona and Chicago, Javon. Zach Gallen. Been a little sketchy recently, but that total's down from 8 to 7. Is there some wind in Wrigley today?
I don't know. But, I mean, regardless, seeing it down to 7 with Jameson Taillon in play is interesting. And I guess if you have wind coming in, which Shaq can let us know, that only plays into Jameson Taillon's hands because a big struggle of his is a massive fly ball pitcher. And you're in Wrigley, where it's a very home run prone area or home run prone park. So I think he's going to pitch pretty well, wind or not. Taillon is. So I kind of lean the Cubs, lean the under, playing into the wind there. But I really don't want to touch anything in this game.
Not even any prize pick squares?
I really don't. If there was another game to kind of pair stuff with, I would get more involved, but I really don't love it.
Okay. All right, that's fair. We move. Chat, I guess gun to our heads, we'd be taking the under. in this wind game, Javon. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. Maybe we ride the steam and take the under 7 and pray the wind really is blowing in. Everyone in chat, the weatherman, are saying it's 15 miles an hour in. I've heard that movie before. I've seen no runs in those games before, so I'd say the under is probably the play to square up and take in this first day game. Get some action going. Don't blow all your bankroll today, chat. These games stink. I'm going to be honest with you. They do. But we got tons of games to cover this weekend. We're going to talk college football Friday. We'll do college football Saturday preview. Javon will do some NFL talk as well towards the end. And, guys, yes, we will go over the MLB slate for today and find you guys some winners as well. You think we just wouldn't talk MLB after cashing 4 straight squad rides in a row on MLB this week? Give me a break. We're talking it, we're betting it, and we're winning on MLB on this Friday afternoon. Plain and simple.
Yep, that's the goal. Always.
That is the goal. So give us the under in Arizona and Chicago if you need some day game action or afternoon action, but not a play that we love.
Yeah.
Not a play we love. All right. One more thing about the Chiefs before we move on to college football Friday. Javon, how about Nick Wright getting a tattoo and telling everybody before the game that the tattoo was for the Chiefs, even though it probably was for something in his own personal life, and the people on the show with him were calling him out and laughing in his face because they knew it was complete bullshit. And how about that 20-0 banner hanging up behind him? Never a doubt, Chiefs go 20-0 this season, Javon. He couldn't even make it through the first game. I think I might have found a worse take than my Colorado under 3.5 wins, and I didn't think that was possible.
Yeah, that was hilarious. I mean,
this is not just foolish television nonsense. I truly believe this, and I will prove it to you, bro. Tatted on my arm as of this week. Never a doubt. The same thing there. And this is why it looks real? Like, yes. Oh, it's real.
That's a real thing.
Oh, it's real. We have the evidence. I knew you wouldn't believe it. No, you can't wipe it off. We can show you. Even my daughter who went with me took pictures of it getting done. Wow. There's me after the show on Tuesday getting it done. So never a doubt. Literally tatted on my arm.
Why not
for this very purpose?
Never a doubt could be that could reflect.
What a little wiggle.
They're like, that could be for anything.
Show me your tattoo about your
beloved screen. I don't want to hear his freaking high-pitched little kid voice anymore. Nick Wright, the fact that he's still on TV is ridiculous. I don't understand it. But we're here, and that might be the worst take of the season. Yes, the Chiefs are going to be probably, going to the Super Bowl again this season, or at least going to be in the playoffs and going to be, totally fine. They have Patrick Mahomes. Not saying they're going to stink this season, not saying they're going to miss the playoffs like the Eagles are, but that might be one of the worst takes I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Lord, I don't know why we're doing that the year after they dominate and win the Super Bowl, but, that's his choice. So
he must just not the ball.
Yeah, luckily for him, that tattoo can mean 5,000 different things. So
yeah, I mean, guys, we can cut the shit. We all know he probably just got that tattoo, for himself, and he thought of that bit in his head the day before the show and said he was going to do it and say the tattoo was for the Chiefs. There's no way that he just got that tattoo for that 20-0 bit on his show that nobody watches. But either way, hilarious that he said that was the case, and even more hilarious that he had a 20-0 banner behind him the day before they lose outright.
Yeah, the banner is crazy. The banner was nuts.
Unbelievable. Nick Wright picked the Chiefs in the Survivor pool. I bet. Guys, there's still time to join our Survivor pool. Okay, we're going to talk about that as well towards the end of the show. But join the Survivor pool. It's free. You can win Super Bowl tickets. Like I said before, to my guys in BTL chat here, if you last longer than me, I'll give out $100 to a couple people because it's not going to happen. That's how confident I am. I know ball. I know football. It's my best sport. NFL, by far my most profitable sport. If you think you can last longer than me in the Survivor pool, yeah, put your money where your mouth is. I'd like to see you try. I would. All right.
There we go.
Let's move, Javon. We got 2 moose shit college football games to talk about today. One is not too bad. I do have a play in it, but let's go ahead and get the other one over with. We've got Indiana State versus Indiana, a rivalry as old as time, Javon. How many points is Indiana going to beat Indiana State by today? Are they going to cover the 31? I know that spread opened up at 33, and it's creeped back towards Indiana State after they got shellacked in their first game of the season. But how do you think this one plays out? Do you think Indiana just absolutely rolls them here at home?
I do, but I also don't think they're going to be very dominant offensively. I think I like the under probably more than anything in this game. I don't think we get too many points here. I honestly think Indiana State's defense is going to be somewhat competitive in this game, and their offense might not score a single point. So in my eyes, maybe like a 35-3 type game, something like that, where Indiana really doesn't look all that good. It's not like they have a running attack that's really going to destroy Indiana State on the ground, which, I mean, their rush defense is passable enough as is. And I think this is just going to be a really low and slow game where you're going to see like the clock rules like come into effect. You're going to watch the first half, which I really hope nobody watches the entire first half, but you're just going to see it go by the snap of a finger.
If you're laying the points, please seek help from Picks.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I freaking bet. Javon, you're thinking maybe the clock will be ticking this game. Maybe the under could be a look.
Yeah, pretty much. That's my inkling of the game. A lot of ground game for both these teams, and Indiana State, even when they're going to try and put the ball in the air, like they're not going to be able to. It's just going to be a pretty tough scene for their offense.
Javon, Indiana State was minus 12.5 against Eastern Illinois in their opener, and they lost outright 27-0. They couldn't even score against a team they were laying 12.5 points to at home. That might have been a bye game for Indiana State. I don't even know, but 12.5, losing outright, losing 27-0. That's kind of a team that I might want to be backing today with my coins.
Maybe.
Do I dare?
I honestly think they sneak cover, but I just don't think it's going to be with them scoring points. I think it's going to be with their defense kind of looking somewhat competent against Indiana, which I guess isn't really saying much. But, yeah, that's kind of how I see it going.
All right. Maybe take the under for the best play in that game. Gun to my head, though, if you need a side. Give me Indiana State. Maybe Larry Bird will suit it up and go out there and play tight end.
Just might.
Unbelievable. All right, let's move. That game stinks. Let's talk about a real game between two Power 5 schools. We got Illinois. We got Kansas, Javon. All the hype today is surrounding the Jayhawks. I don't blame them. Jalen Daniels is back. That kid was absolutely electric last season. But was he? Was he electric? Or was he just good in the first half of the season? And then did he completely tail off at the end of the year? Maybe he was hurt. Maybe he just stinks. I don't know. Either way, though, he's coming back for week 2 tonight against an Illinois defense who I really don't think showcased how good they really are last week against a pretty darn solid Toledo offense. They had their hands full. Illinois did. They had to come back. I think it was like a 21-point comeback they had in the second half to just win that game. But I was very impressed by Luke Altmaier. I think that kid, the 4-star who went to Ole Miss originally, the Mississippi kid, who's transferred to Illinois, I was pretty impressed by him. I think him being able to use his legs has completely opened up another factor of this offense. It's pretty much been one-dimensional for the last couple of years. I forget the name of the elite running back they had last year, but he's in the league now. He's a backup somewhere. I don't remember his name now. What's his name?
Chase Brown.
Chase Brown, yes. He's in the NFL now, but don't have no fear, Javon. They got Reggie Love, who might not be an NFL talent, but he sure as heck is close. That's a good enough running back for me. And they've got 2 linemen on that team who will be in the NFL last year. They have a pretty solid O-line. And let's not forget about their defensive line either. This defensive line is legit. They got Johnny Newton, who's an NFL, caliber defensive lineman. And they really didn't showcase it last week, guys. I really don't think we know how elite this team really is, at least on the defensive side of the ball. And I am worried about their secondary because a lot of those guys are now in the league. But I don't think Jalen Daniels is going to be that much of a threat in the air, coming back a little rusty after missing week 1. And is he going to be healthy, Javon? If he wasn't healthy enough to play last week, what's going to change in a week? And now he's going to face this D-line? That's a terrible matchup for Jalen Daniels in his return.
Yeah, it's a tough spot because, I think the front 7 for Illinois, at least first on the defensive side of the ball, is going to outmatch Kansas. So you're going to see them make Jalen Daniels a little one-dimensional, or at least the offense a little one-dimensional. Like Jalen Daniels can do plenty of things with his arm, with his feet, but he's not as good as I guess some of the numbers said he was early in last season. We started to see him kind of tail off production-wise second half of the season. A lot of that was because Kansas got into the tougher parts of their schedule where they were facing a little better run defenses. So when Kansas can't run the football effectively, that's when their offense really struggles, whether it's Jalen Daniels or Jason Bean. So I don't think you're going to be able to run the ball all that effectively against Illinois. Yes, they're replacing a lot of guys on defense. It didn't look as good last week against Toledo, but I think they get it together and they're fine. But especially in the other side of the ball, I think Illinois is just going to run down Kansas's throat. They are going to dominate them on that side of the ball more so than the other. It's going to be a really good game for Reggie Love, to say the least. He is going to actually stack yards, and Luke Altmaier honestly won't have to do much, I don't think, against this Kansas team. So on the road. I think Illinois gets it done outright in this game, but I do like the points.
Outright. Are you going to be on the points?
Yeah, I'll take the points, but
Okay.
I think they win.
Yeah, guys, let's not forget how terrible this Kansas defense is. I mean, they scored a ton of points last season to kind of cover up for it, but this defense is putrid. They don't really have any playmakers or game changers coming in this season on that side of the ball. And I'm with you, Javon. I think Reggie Love and that O-line is going to feast. I think that's how they're going to really, attack this Kansas defense is, book of chew, ground and pound, run that damn clock. I don't hate the under in this game as well. I definitely lean that way. I've kind of been going back and forth between Illinois plus 3.5 and that under. But I think I do like the points with Illinois. Not a big Kansas guy, although I did fade them a lot last year. And that team seemed to not really care what was sharp and what wasn't. They'd always cover anyways. But you know what? This season, I'm willing to give it another shot. Fade Kansas, fade one of the trendiest teams in baseball or in college football. Looking at baseball comments in chat here, this has to be Josh. Cubs ML midday whale, sure. Let's fade this Kansas trendy team. The public loves him. Let's fade Jalen Daniels in his return. He's got a back injury. Not a great matchup for him going against this D-line in his return. I don't care if he's home. Doesn't matter. Give me the points.
Yep, I'm in.
It's Trent.
Yeah.
Let's go, Trent. Cubs ML midday whale. That should work out. Honestly, I'm happier on that instead of the other side. So
yeah.
Although I do like the under, but I'm happy you took that instead of Arizona. Okay, we move. Let's go, Cubbies. All right, Javon. Any prize pick squares in these games? Do we dare try to target Reggie Love?
I mean, I would have absolutely no problem doing it. My one concern is that it's Reggie Love, but it's also, like you can see up there a little bit of Josh McCray too. So I feel like they're kind of going to ride the hot hand in this one with who's getting the most explosive plays on a drive-to-drive kind of basis. So that's what scares me enough about targeting one of these guys individually. Like, I think they're both going to have really good games, but I have question marks about usage for each of these guys. So I don't know if you have one that you like over the other, but it's kind of tough to pick.
I'm seeing in chat Darren Waller is listed as questionable. Huh. That's not a great start. That's okay.
Yeah.
And also, Terry McLaurin is carrying 0 injury designation into week 1. That doesn't mean he's not going to be hindered or a little slow with that turf toe, but that does mean that he's healthy enough to play. And that's a great sign because we were hearing for the last 2 weeks he probably wasn't going to play, and maybe he was even going to go on the IR. So that's huge. Although I will say Chase Young will not be playing this weekend. I'm willing to bet money on that. I don't care what he's saying. He's not playing. He doesn't even want to play. And he doesn't even want to be in DC. That's a combo for another time, though. Javon, I'm down to just square up and take Reggie Love. I think he's our guy. I'm not scared by the backups. I think we go fantasy score. I see him punching a touchdown in today. I think he's going to be the focal point of this offense. I think we just keep it simple, which is totally fine to do in college football.
Yeah, there we go. I'm in. I can get down with that.
W's. Any other squares for these games tonight? I know there's not many up.
Yeah, it's not really much else to go to tonight.
I guess we could pair this with Shedeur Sanders, less than 2.5 passing touchdowns.
Yeah, we can do that. That's hitting. There's another one that we'll talk about when we get to the games that I really like too. But yeah,
awesome.
He ain't thrown 3. That might not even be up very long because it's getting super juice towards the under.
Okay, Chad, you heard it here first. W's. If you need a prize pick square for tonight, Reggie Love, more than 10 fantasy score, that's the one. And I'm sure we'll have plenty to go over as well from today you can pair with for some MLBs. We'll get to it in a little bit. All right, Chad.
Yep.
We move. Let's talk about some of these college football games coming up on Saturday. Only a few hours away, Chad. Don't blink. It'll be here at 11 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. There's a Vanderbilt game, although I wouldn't recommend betting on that one. Let's talk about Nebraska and Colorado, because that seems to be the game that everybody knows the outcome already. Everyone in chat already knows that Deion Sanders is winning this one. I don't even know why they're playing the game at this point, Javon. I mean, they beat TCU, and their defense looked like, I mean, you give me some gloves, I probably could put up 100 yards on them. That's how bad the Frogs looked on D. And I guess the season's over. Let's honestly just shut everybody down. We don't need anybody to get hurt. And we'll go ahead and send Colorado to the national championship, and we'll put them against Alabama. Does that sound good?
Yeah, might as well.
That's all everybody's asking. That's all everybody's asking. It's ridiculous. First of all, it's ridiculous this team's ranked. Let's go ahead and get that on record. This defense being ranked is absurd, and the only reason they're ranked is because of Coach Prime. You could say it's because they just knocked off the defending national championship runner-ups, but if you guys watch that game, Javon put earmuffs on. TCU looked atrocious. I thought I was watching a VT game. They looked terrible.
I'll be the first to say it. No earmuffs needed. I mean, they're terrible, which is one of the reasons why, like, I love everything Colorado is doing. I think it's awesome for the sport, but we got to be realistic here. The same.
We got to be
Same
realistic.
little realm.
Let's look at this matchup from a football perspective, and let's not all just say that we're back at Coach Prime after one win because he's cool. All right, that's ridiculous. And you know what? I don't hate Coach Prime. I just think it's ridiculous the public's all jumping on this bandwagon this early. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Like,
and I'll be honest with you, Javon, I didn't like how he went into that locker room in the offseason and kicked everybody out and said he's bringing his kids in. I thought that was disrespectful to those kids who have worked their asses off to get to a Power 5 school and play college football. I thought that was absolutely disrespectful. I thought he was big dick and the rest of the people in that room and their kids. I thought that's ridiculous. So you get off on the wrong start there. And then, hey, I'm just giving you my opinions. That's just how I feel. Fair, I really didn't fuck with that. I really didn't. And then,
good job, though.
And then you get one win and everyone acts like they're already going to the Natty. It's ridiculous, chat. You guys need to slow your roll on this team or else you're going to look like a fool in a month. Because I'll tell you right now, if Nebraska wins this game like I think they are, and then Pac-12 play starts up, Javon, who do they play in their first 2 weeks?
Oh, I mean, they play Oregon and USC. So, I mean, good luck. They're not going to be in either of those games for a second. So, it's they're a little better than like a bottom feeder, the 1-win team they were last year, obviously, but they're not anything special. And talked about like the coaching advantage that they seemingly had last week. No tape for TCU with an entirely new roster. They also, TCU's defense, a big reason why they shredded them with a lot of underneath stuff is because Colorado runs the same offense. They have a handful of guys that are actually on Big 12 opposing staffs or against TCU, and some of the guys who have worked well with defeating them in multiple times. And then you have a rotating cast of starters on that defense as well for TCU who don't return many from that national championship appearance team at all. So now you have tape. Now you have a Nebraska defense that, A, is kind of geared to stop everything that Colorado does, but B, now they know exactly what they're going to do. We've seen their offense. So that was the big question mark, like in the offseason. We really didn't know what Colorado was going to look like. Now, after 1 week, we kind of do. So Nebraska, the one thing, you can talk about Jeff Sims and the offense all you want. They're not very good, but the one thing that you debatably cannot argue in any form or fashion is that their defense isn't 50 times better than what Colorado faced in Fort Worth last week. So we're going to see that. Again, there's a reason why all of the lines, as far as player props go and prize pick squares, they're all moving the opposite way for Colorado. So, I mean, the line, since they reopened it too, has also dropped 2 points towards Nebraska. So we'll see a much different kind of game. We're not going to see them just look like they're the best offense in the world against Nebraska.
100%. And let me go ahead and address chat right now who thinks they're on the Colorado Buffaloes team. Number one, I will bet on Nebraska this weekend, and I will show my slip. Number two, I'm entitled to any opinion I want, and I know football way better than anybody in chat. And I'll tell you right now, you're going to look like fools when this Colorado team starts the Pac-12 season with 2 losses after losing to Nebraska at home after 1 win. Everything is going to change after tomorrow, and you guys are going to be the ones with losing slips in your pockets because you're all jumping on the Colorado bandwagon acting like you're in the locker room. It's ridiculous.
Here's the thing,
it's
too.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Jeff Sims is better than Chandler Morris, TCU quarterback, by
100%.
a wide margin. So, I don't understand what the qualms are with Jeff Sims and Chandler Morris with that offense. They put up 42 points. So, I really don't know what the point is here. And Nebraska's defense, like I said, is quite obviously 50 times better than TCU's. So it's not like you're getting a wide difference here. It's just a much better defense they're going to face, which was the issue last week.
100%. Everyone's acting like they got their bus uniforms on, getting ready for Saturday. Guys, they're going to lose outright tomorrow, and all this hype that's blown up out of proportion by the media because they're all making so much money off of this. Have you guys been seeing the NIL payout bumps from the studs on this Colorado team? They're making millions of dollars this season through the media, pushing this team to be the center of the spotlight for college football. And I get it. I do. You got Coach Prime taking over a shit football program, and he's trying to change the culture. He's trying to turn them around. And if he does it at the end of the season, you know what? Even if he does it tomorrow, If Coach Prime wins this game by 4 or more tomorrow, I will eat my words and I will put respect on Deion Sanders and what he's building over there, guys. But if you really think that one coach coming in and getting one win changes an entire football program, do you guys know how hard it is to rebuild, restructure, and bring a team back to, title contention from nothing? It takes years. I don't care if you have Jesus Christ himself with the headset on the sidelines. It takes forever. And one win is being blown completely out of proportion. It is. I'd like to see him get at least 2 wins before everyone acts like they're the best team in college football. You guys are completely blowing this out of proportion. Colorado is going to lose outright tomorrow on their home field, and all this hype is going to simmer down, and my under 3.5 wins is going to have life. And yes, I'll be doubling down on Nebraska tomorrow because I'm that confident. And I put my money where my mouth is. I did. And I'm going to do it again tomorrow. Nebraska's not losing that game. They sure as hell aren't not covering. All right, they're keeping that within 3. And I will willingly bet Jeff Sims, a guy who's a dual threat quarterback who at times has looked elite, other times looks like he's forgotten how to play QB. I'm willing to roll the dice, take my chances. We already know he's better than Chandler from TCU. And that Nebraska defense is night and day compared to the Frogs. It's not even comparable. It's not.
I mean, I would put there's probably 100 quarterbacks in college football better than Chandler Morris. That's probably being pretty generous to Chandler Morris. And I've been saying that from the rooftops for a year now since he was kind of the heir apparent there. But yeah,
I do know more ball. I do. It's plain and simple. I went 55% all tracked in college football last season. I went 61% in NFL last season. I am better than you, Richard Sherman. Plain and simple. I am. I know I'm good at betting football. I'm not going to be afraid to tell it. I won't. And I'm going to give you guys winners the entire season.
I think regardless of what happens, too, like whether Colorado pulls out a win or not, like the 3.5 bet or 3.5 win total bet may be in jeopardy, but like this is still a borderline, probably not even bowl eligible team at that point. Like the live line is still set under that right now. I think they're at 5.5. So, I mean, I like taking that under live here too, but like it really doesn't change the outlook of the season for Colorado, win or lose this game. That's what I don't think people have grasped. It's like when they do hop into the Oregon and USC games, good luck. Chandler Morris and TCU's offense putting up 42. Bo Nix might put up 42 in the first quarter. So Caleb Williams might have 5 touchdowns.
Himself.
Caleb Williams might have 5 touchdowns in the first 4 drives for USC. Like it's going to
be like playing against a high school defense is what it's going to be.
Pump the brakes.
Literally.
But we'll go on to Notre Dame.
We will move on 1,000%. We got other games to cover. This is not the only one on the slate, but I'll leave you with this. I will post my Nebraska slip tomorrow because I do put my money where my mouth is, and I put my face in front of my accounts. Okay, I'm out there, giving you guys all my slips, giving you guys all my bets, putting my name behind it, not deleting shit, not hiding. I will put my slip out there. But let me ask you guys this in chat. I want you guys to DM me your slips on Nebraska tomorrow. I want you to put your Twitch name in the DM on Twitter. Give me your Twitch name, give me your slip on Colorado money line or Colorado spread tomorrow. And if that hits, I will tip my cap. I'll give you a little salute emoji. We'll go about our day because it has to go both ways, folks. It does. You can't just sit in here and roast me for putting my money where my mouth is and putting my hard-earned coins on a bet that I do still believe will hit. You can't chirp it from the sidelines when you don't even have action on it. So talk that talk. I want you guys to chirp me. I'm in on it. I can take it. I promise. I just want to see some slips too. It goes both ways, folks. So DM me on Twitter your slip of Colorado. I want to see it. I want to see the losing slip because I want to be able to clap back at you just like you guys are right now in chat Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern because I'm coming. So if you guys have the nuts to say it here, I want to see you bring that to my Twitter DMs. Okay, and I'll give you a salute emoji. Congrats if Colorado gets a win. If they don't, you're the bozo. And I promise you I won't get any freaking DMs. I won't. We'll leave it at that. Notre Dame and NC State, Javon, give me the rundown. How are we fading Brennan Armstrong this week?
I just want to lay it with Notre Dame. There's a lot of the 7.5 lines with like weird lines, I guess you could say, for underdogs. So like I think some of them are going to be in the more public spots, obvious spots they're going to hit. And I think Notre Dame's one of them. especially with NC State's defense, which is a 3-3-5, the same stuff that a lot of the Big 12 runs. So like it helps against teams that are more athletic and fast and up tempo, which is why like Sam Hartman, when he was with Wake, he really struggled against his defense. But Notre Dame is a big physical power run team that also has Sam Hartman to capitalize on a lot of throws when they need it. So like I think Audric Estime and the offensive line for Notre Dame are going to absolutely dominate. And Sam Hartman is going to make the throws when needed. But I think the run game is going to be absolutely dominant in this game, and it's going to set the tempo from Notre Dame. So like I don't think it's going to be easy. I think NC State can hang in this game for a while. But I think at the end of the day, Notre Dame's going to be too much for them, especially, like I said, in the run game and with the O-line.
I'm with you. I think Notre Dame blows them out of the water. I think people are going to be on NC State in the spot, and I think we fade that public dog and we lay the points with the Irish on the red. I'm with it.
And
I'm with it. And look at that. We've gotten our first DM, and this one comes from a guy we know and love. Josh has just texted me his first one. $112 right here. W. Joshy, our guy Goots is off today. He's hanging out with his girl, W. Riz Goots. I hope you're enjoying your little off day here. We got Josh filling in with the squad down there in Tuscaloosa. W's Joshy. Hey, man, you're putting your money where your mouth is. You show me the slip. I got no qualms. 0, Joshy. That's totally fine. I want to see chat put their money where their mouth is because, number one, I just want to laugh at the $20 slips that they're going to lose on Colorado. And number two, the street goes both ways, folks. I put my slip out there. You guys all roast from the peanut gallery. If you want to roast me, that's totally fine. I want to see the slips. I want to see them. Yeah, Josh, you might have a date tonight too, though. I can't just leave all the Riz to Goods. There's a solid chance Josh has a date tonight too.
I actually do. That's crazy.
Oh,
he actually does. That's the crazy
part.
W's Josh. Let's freaking go, my man. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right, let's move and groove. Let's talk about Iowa and Iowa State.
Ooh, don't slip past Utah Baylor.
Fine. We'll talk about Utah Baylor. Okay. Chat, look, I'm not laying the points at Utah, and I recommend you guys not do the same. But I don't know if I want to bet Baylor yet, Javon. They got no QB. I mean, they got absolutely blown out last week. But this spread is short. Utah looked like Himothy last week. I mean, unbelievable with their backup QB. And we got Baylor only getting 7 points here. I will say I do think maybe this is the fake sharp. Public dog at home here, potentially getting 7.5 points. Where's your head at with this game, Javon?
So initially, I was in the same spot as you. It was a suspicious line, which you have plenty of these, like at the 7 to 7.5 mark this week, that I was just going to let go. But the more I've looked and the more I've looked into it, talking myself into Baylor. And I like the under too because I think it's going to be that type of game. But I think Baylor stays in this one. Utah's going on the road where they're not the same team, especially in these little weird non-conference matchups. I mean, we saw it last year against a really bad Florida team, which we saw play out through the rest of the season. But that was also with Cam Rising. Now they have potentially no Cam Rising again. I don't really care. But Sawyer Robinson's probably going to be the quarterback for Baylor this week. But defensively, I think Baylor is going to lock in. And this past game for Utah, which, again, really struggles on the road, Baylor's going to load the box. That's what they do best. They're going to load the box, and they're going to make Utah, whether it's Cam Rising, whether it ends up being whatever backup or third strings, they rotated between two in the Florida game. Whichever one of those guys are going to have to beat them with their arm. And I don't think you're going to do that, to be honest with you, especially with the pressure that Baylor's going to put on their front seven, which sneakily, I mean, Baylor front seven is a lot better than I think people give them credit for. The secondary is pretty weak, but the linebacking core is pretty versatile, and they're strong. And I honestly thought that was one of the very few strong points that I saw out of the Texas State game for them. It's like, again, Baylor's going to load the box. Utah's probably going to get beat at their own game, trying to be out physicaling teams on the road here. And I don't think it's going to work. I think this is a close game. I think Baylor is very live to win this one outright.
Wow. Would you even recommend going half U on the ML instead of going full U on the spread because you think Baylor either gets obliterated or they just win this game outright?
Well, so I do like the points. I think there is an in-between there because, like I said, I like the under, and I think it's going to be a slow game, and you're having, in all likelihood, a quarterback situation on both sides of the ball where there's going to be mistakes. There's going to be a lack of playmaking. So I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. So I do like the points. I think you're getting a good number there with the 7 or 7.5, whatever you're getting. But yeah, I think Baylor is in a pretty good spot to be live to win this one.
Okay. Give me the Baylor Bears on the spread. I'm with you. We move.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Purdue and VT for a second. I think those lines are up there. Yep, perfect.
Yep.
Guys, we'll show you a tweet as well. VT has not won a game against a Power 5 non-conference opponent since I was at the game, boots on ground. I believe it was in 2017. Yeah, I think it's in that second there tweet as well. I was there at the Fed, actually. It wasn't even at home. Neutral site, West Virginia VT back in the day. That was a while ago. Okay, we have not played well against non-conference teams since then. And to be honest with you, the way our team's looking this year, after what I just watched against ODU, sheesh. I don't think they're going to break this streak anytime soon, Javon. But I'll tell you what, us laying 2.5 points or laying 3 points at home is pretty crazy, because I know this VT team, and I know that we're 1 year away from being decent with the recruiting class we have coming in next year. This team right now, Javon, is not it. So either Purdue is in just as much piss as we are, which they might be, and maybe you could fill me in. But this line's ridiculous, and I lean VT. I do. Just by looking at the lines, we have no business being a favorite against anybody. Is Purdue that bad?
Yeah, I mean, I think so, especially defensively. I was pretty I can't say I came in and thought Purdue's defense was going to be the steel curtain this year, but what they did against Fresno was pretty embarrassing. So like Hudson Card, I mean, look, I think he looked fine for the most part in that game. Really, everybody else struggled to the point of where, like, I don't believe in Purdue, so I don't think the line is all that crazy, but I do think this is just going to be such a weird game. I have no idea what to do with it. I think there's going to be a ton of mistakes in this game, a ton of turnovers, a lot of sloppy play. So, I mean, Grant Wells' interception is on the board on Prize Picks. I'll be taking that square and taking that more than. But, yeah, I have no idea what to do with the side in this game. I'll be honest.
I mean, this is the toilet bowl right here, folks. Two big-name programs who are absolutely struggling. They're drowning. They are. Yeah. Stay off this game. I will say, though, it's crazy to see VT as a favorite. Maybe it's just the Lane Stadium edge. I've seen this team get a little bit more respect at home over the years than they should be, even when they've stunk. Maybe that still sticks around, Javon. I don't know. I mean, either way, that still is a tough place to play, no matter if the team stinks or not. But, man, Watson's out for the Packers, too. You've got to be shitting me.
Let's see where that line goes.
Let's see where that line moves, because if the Packers are still +1, I'm going to be nuking.
Yeah.
And there's nothing anybody can do about it. Okay? Dobbs questionable. Wow. They're caked. All right. Let's move. Let's groove. That's enough VT talk for one day. Javon, Iowa State and Iowa. Let me go ahead and start this off by saying fuck Iowa State for them losing coins for us on purpose. Throwing games last season. I cannot stand that entire football program, and they have lost any sort of credibility in my eyes. I will not be putting money on them for a while after what they did to me last season. I mean, they were literally throwing games and betting on them. A bunch of pieces of shit. That's ridiculous. Grow up. You're in college football. Have some self-respect. Okay, that's ridiculous. You're ruining the integrity of the sport. Anyways, let's talk about this game, Javon. Are you laying it with Iowa on the road here? Are you as high on this Iowa team as I am?
I am, and I am as high as on this Iowa team as I think you are. But I will say, like, Iowa State, I think sneakily is in a much better spot this year. Like Hunter Decker's last year was absolutely horrendous, and a big reason why we lost a lot of those bets, whether he was betting on them or not. Just looking, he was absolutely lost at quarterback. Honestly, I think he was in a pretty similar spot to what Iowa was doing offensively. In fact, actually looked pretty good last week, I will say. But I don't think he's going to do the same against this Iowa defense. I think Iowa with McNamara is going to come out with a pretty balanced attack against an Iowa State defense that is replacing a lot. They're going through a little bit of a scheme change as well. So, like, I think this is all Iowa for me. They're not going to dominate. It's going to be a lower scoring game like they always are. I don't mind the square under in this game either. But, yeah, I think Iowa by a touchdown.
Iowa by a tutty. I can definitely get behind that. I'll tell you what, though. I don't know if I can get behind the under in this one, Javon. I might be backing Cade McNamara on that offense to be putting up some points in this game. And, you know, the thing holding me back is that Iowa State offense. I'll be honest with you. They stink. They're moose. But I think that over might be a decent look here. We know what happens when these two teams play, right? We get a 6-0 game, right? I think last year was like 13-7, 10-7 was what it was last year. I mean, under Central in this series, the last 4 years, I mean, some of these games, 13-3, 18-17, they're always nasty. They're always low scoring. But has Iowa had a better offense? than how they had this year in any of those games the last 5 years? I don't think so, Javon.
Yeah, I mean, I think Iowa can score. I think Iowa State's just the question there because, I mean, all they have to do is load the box, which I'm 100% sure they're going to do anyway. Load the box and make Iowa State beat you through the air. They can't. So, like, I was impressed of what I saw from Iowa State a little bit offensively last week, but it's not going to be enough. So, like, even if Iowa puts up 24, let's say, I could very well see it being 24-7 or 24-10.
All right. That's fair. Maybe it's Iowa team total over then if I want to back the over.
Yeah, if you want to back points, I think that's the way I would do it.
All right. My favorite play in this game, though, is laying the points with Iowa, and I'm assuming you as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Dubs, let's keep moving to Groove and Chat. We're going to power through some of these college football games, and then we'll spend some more times on the bigger ones as we get to them. But let's talk about UTEP and Northwestern, Javon. I don't want to botch the trend or the tweet that I saw the other day, but I think this is the first time UTEP is a favorite against a Power 5 school in like a weirdly long time, like 10 years or some shit like that. I saw that tweet earlier this week. UTEP getting some respect, a crummy football program, Javon, but Northwestern, I mean, the way they looked last week, they probably deserved that line.
Yeah, I mean, to see UTEP as a favorite still on the spot on the road is absolutely insane to me. So, I mean, it's a mandatory play with how terrible they've looked. And I know a lot of it had to do with play calling, how they've looked so far. It's just really super confusing to me. Obviously, they lost again to Jacksonville State, an FCS team in their first game, and now they're coming and they're a favorite against an FBS team on the road, a Big Ten team at that, even though it's Northwestern. It's just something that's got to be played. Hold your nose and punch in UTEP ML.
At least, chat, please stay off Northwestern. Don't try to get cute and back the Power 5 school to figure it out. They are that bad. And those players got their coach fired. You know, maybe he didn't deserve it. Maybe they blew it a little out of proportion. But either way, I mean, getting rid of Pat Fitzgerald, that's a head scratcher for me. You know, if he really is that bad of a guy, sure, 100%. But it seemed to me like the players kind of wanted him out. He was kind of a dick. And now the team absolutely blows. They blow. Yeah. They're terrible. They lost all the progress they made with Pat Fitzgerald over the years. So give me UTEP on the road as a favorite in Northwestern. That's a crazy line. Don't overthink it. Lay the points. Take the -1.5, take the ML, whatever you want to take. I wouldn't rush to bet this because the line is tinkering back towards Northwestern. Maybe you can get this at a pick-up by kickoff. But either way, no matter what the line move does, you got to back UTEP here on the ML.
Yeah. Hold your nose and do it.
All right. Let's keep moving to Groove and Javon. Texas State and UTSA, the game of the night. Everyone's talking about it. All jokes aside, though, can we fade the living heck out of Texas State in this spot, Javon, after an outright win against Baylor?
Yeah, it's another super confusing line. Like, I don't know how much lower you can set it, I guess, but UTSA looked putrid. I mean, Frank Harris looked – I mean, I came into the season expecting a really big year from him after we saw flashes of one of the best quarterbacks in the group of five really last year from him. He looked horrendous in every facet of the game. So to see them now laying 2 touchdowns against the Texas State team who just went to Waco and beat Baylor, I think is all that telling. So, I mean, UTSA just might win by 50. And I can tell you one thing. They're going to score in this game, and Frank Harris is going to look significantly better. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see it. I know. I was saying I think we're going to see a ton of points for them. I wouldn't be surprised to see a 50-piece and them just dominate.
Yep. I'm with it. Lay the points with UTSA at home. Frank Harris rights the ship. And perfect spot, too, to fade Texas State or just beat Baylor outright. I love this spot. This might be my low-key favorite bet of the weekend.
Yeah, it's definitely a really good look. Got to fade the week one overreactions.
Yeah, this is tough. We'll get to this when we get to the NFL games. Okay, here's the rest of the schedule for BTL today, guys. We're going to finish these college games. We'll do the MLB cheat sheet, the milk from Javon games for today, and then we'll talk NFL Week 1 preview. All right, that's the schedule today. And then, of course, hit another squad ride. Let's be perfect this week. Need it, chat. Packers went to +1.5. They've been at +1.5. Larry, keep me updated, though. If you see any more movement, please, I appreciate that.
They're not at 2.5. I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah, if they don't even move to 2, I mean, they were at 1.5, 1. I saw maybe a couple halves floating around, which is really just to pick them. But if they don't move to 2, that is crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. All right, let's keep moving to Griffin. Let's go to Mississippi and Tulane. Javon, I am not super hip with either of these teams. I want you to take the reins with this game. Although I will say, I definitely want to fade this Tulane program this season. Is Ole Miss on the road a way to do it in week 2?
I don't want to fade Tulane. I'll be honest with you. I don't think they're going to be. And wow, Josh just scrolled past the Texas Tech game. They're down to 6.
No way.
We'll talk about that in a second. But I don't want to fade Tulane. I think this is another interesting game where they're in the mix to win it as well. I really was kind of impressed. I was expecting a massive step back, at least in week 1, with what we saw from Pratt in the offense, but I didn't really see that. So, I think this is going to be a pretty interesting game, especially on the road, which you don't see a lot of SEC teams obviously go on the road to a group of 5 program, especially locally, which is honestly pretty cool to see after last season. But I think it's going to be a shootout, which is probably the square angle here. And honestly, I watched Ole Miss for a little bit last week, and for as high as everybody was on Quinshad Judkins coming into the season and the run game that they're going to have to complement like the Jackson Dart air raid offense or whoever was going to be quarterback or maybe quarterback later in the season, I wasn't that impressed. Like, Judkins was not all that efficient. The O-line wasn't getting a lot of push there. So, they weren't dominant like I kind of expected them to be. So, this Tulane defense is replacing a lot of guys, but they also are still very stout in the front 7. So, I think it's going to be tough sledding for Ole Miss. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if Tulane wins.
Trent, I swear to God, if you blow all that money today in Tuscaloosa, I'm going to be so pissed, man. Please keep the coin safe today, my man. Please, 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 please. Please, please, please. Please do not put your entire balance on Alabama. Please. I'm begging. Okay.
Should take them though.
I'm nuking the Astros and calling it a night. Yes. Yes. That's what I'm talking about, Trent. Dude, Trent is fucking dialed this season, folks. Have you guys noticed he's absolutely seeing green and he's addicted to it? He is finding winners. He is not just picking plays that pop into his head after 3 seconds because they're memeable or fun. He is finding winners, folks. Primetime Trent is here. W's. Trent, don't be going and placing any nukes after that gas stop. Okay, stay humble. But W's. All right. Javon, all right, if you like Tulane, I'll stay off Ole Miss. I just don't like either of these programs, I'll be honest with you. I wish I could fade both.
Fair enough.
Let's keep moving and grooving. Let's go back to that Texas A&M and Miami game. How about them apples? You were talking about Texas A&M here, Javon? Potentially being a live dog?
Well, they're favored, or unless we're talking about Texas Tech.
We could start with Oregon and Texas Tech. That's fine. Well, I know Texas Tech is a live dog, and they're down from 6.5 to 6 if we want to start there. Jeesh.
Yeah, they're winning this game.
Whoa.
It's one that I kind of circled before the season, before I thought, I didn't think they were going to go on the road and lose to Wyoming necessarily, but that's a weird place. Laramie, weird stuff happens in Laramie, and it's actually was a really bad matchup, and I would have said that prior to, I think I did say that prior to the game. But this is an interesting spot because Texas Tech, they suck against physical defenses, which is exactly what Wyoming is. It's exactly what Oregon isn't. And obviously you have a big talent discrepancy there, but now they're coming into Lubbock, which is a tough place to be. And yes, I don't think their defense is going to stop Oregon necessarily, but we see a total very high for a reason. Tyler Shuck is very familiar with that team. It's a Tyler Shuck revenge game too. People forget.
People do forget.
People do forget. So I think Texas Tech, their offense schemes perfectly against Oregon's defense. I mean, Oregon's defense isn't good anyway, but you're going to see a lot of RPO, a lot of quick passes to get the guys out in space, something they were not able to do against Wyoming because of how physical they were. The scheme they ran was literally built to stop a Texas Tech offense. Oregon is going to let you play in space, which is bad news. And I think you're going to see a lot of the hype that we saw in the offseason for Texas Tech kind of come to fruition here when they play Oregon. And this is going to be a shootout game, frankly. And Texas Tech is going to win. But
100%.
But I do like Bo Nix a lot with his legs, which is probably one of my favorite prize pick squares of the weekend. I like his rush yards, but I also really like the rushing touchdown square, which is up, which I love taking those for quarterbacks. So usually pretty telling when they're up. But Texas Tech, the one problem with them, and it actually showed itself a lot against Wyoming, their defensive line has absolutely no discipline as far as rush integrity or gap, whatever lanes they do. They just kind of go for it all, and it leaves a lot of room for the quarterback to scramble in an open pocket or a pocket that collapses and it's all too late. So the quarterback for Wyoming scrambled at will. And we saw that a lot last year against Texas Tech as well. So Bo Nix, I think he's going to run absolutely wild, especially if the secondary is a little better than some people are thinking it's going to be. So you might be forced out, but I think he'll have plenty of lanes to go out. So like his rush yards at 24.5. I don't think they're going to get all that much pressure on him. So the sacks aren't going to be an incredible issue. But the rushing touchdown, I think, is up for a reason there. And I see him run one in.
Wow. Okay. Bo Nix scoring a rushing touchdown. Are we able to back his rush yards as well?
Yeah, he's got both up. But that rushing touchdown, I like a lot more. Honestly, like I'm a little surprised that it's up. I'll be honest. Because they usually have like rushing touchdown lines by itself, which they don't have them for this game for whatever reason. But it's anytime touchdown, which can only be a rushing touchdown, is up. That's like minus 160, 170. So interesting. That's a lot of respect. No, it's a high scoring game, but
I'd be down to lay it. I'm sure as heck down to lay Texas Tech +6, maybe even a sprinkle on the ML. I think they get it done. Let's fade Bo Nix. Maybe they get a win on the road, but they're sure as heck not winning by 7. Give me a break. It's a ridiculous line. Give me Texas Tech to bounce back. All right, this team's legit this season. Don't forget after 1 week. Let's not let 1 week affect how we think about all these teams, Chad. It's 1 week. If you can hit what I'm getting at there. All right?
Yeah.
I hope we can hold you guys accountable for these outlandish picks. Number 1, book it with Vegas. Send me your card for the weekend so I can post it on my Twitter afterwards and roast you and have people tag you and tell you you're a shit gambler. Number 2, I track all my football bets, and we track and recap all of our best bets on this show. No one else does that. We do that. Number 3, can we get the vibes up? It's Friday. We've got football back. Why are you guys all pissy? Can we find winners together? We need you guys locked in, happy, excited for the weekend, getting ready to crack high noons and find winners on the slate for the squad ride coming up. We need the energy up.
Yeah.
Okay?
I mean, if you want to
spoon-feeding winners on this show for the last month. There's no one else out there giving out winners more than us for free. It's ridiculous. Can you guys wipe those frowns off your face? And can we do this as a freaking team and find winners? Grow up. Grow up.
I mean, we're hitting squad right now like nothing else.
This is a community. We're a unit, folks. Lock in. You're either with us or against us. We've been printing you guys winners. We're the only people who don't sell our picks. Give us some fucking respect. That's all we're asking. Plain and simple. Okay? Let's get some good comments in chat that are actually productive and can help us find some winners. If you want to bitch, call up your girlfriend or your mom. Okay? Go whine and cry to them. But we stick to positivity and we stick to winners in this chat, and we need you guys locked in. Grow up.
Yeah, maybe we should just take every favorite instead.
Maybe we should sell our picks like everybody else. I don't know. Or we can keep doing this for free and keep building this community that we fucking love. Yeah. I think I want to do the latter. I do.
Why not?
Let's keep moving and grooving. SMU, Oklahoma. Any quick points on that one, Javon? You like both these teams?
Yeah, I do like both these teams, but defensively, I was impressed what we saw from SMU, but I don't think it's going to work against Oklahoma. I'm down to lay it with Oklahoma. I just think they're going to be, especially in non-conference, just that team. They're going to run up the points. So at home especially, I like Dylan Gabriel to have an absolute masterclass.
Okay. So you might even lay the points with them here. You're definitely not targeting SMU.
No. I mean, I think they'll hang in this game with their offense a little bit. Again, Preston Stone really impressed me last week. I thought I was going to take some growing pains, at least early in the season for SMU. Maybe they're not there yet, but Oklahoma, I think they roll.
How about this? YouTube chat, Travis. They might win the ball. People are talking. And yes, Javon, I'm down to lay with Oklahoma. They looked insane last year. I think you might have picked a good one. You picked a good horse to ride, a good dark horse to ride for this season. Everyone's sleeping on that program. Brent Venables got them looking good week 1. Let's see if they can carry it into week 2.
Yeah. Side note, if anybody wants to get in live on this season and any Oklahoma investments, I would do it now before Texas. All of that hype dies down this week.
W Insight. Love it. All right, let's go to the big one. Let's talk about it. Texas and Bama. This one's going to be good. And, guys, we got the squad out there right now. They're on the way to Tuscaloosa. About to sweat that game out in person. Lauren Trent and Mikey, I believe, are on their way. So, make sure you guys check out their content this weekend. They'll be boots on ground at the best college football game of the week. Texas, Bama, Javon. Alabama has been the best football program in college for the greater part of the past, decade and a half. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt here. They are a powerhouse, a wagon. And then you got Texas. And Texas has the same hype every single year, but the results are the opposite. They always find a way to fuck it up. Well, now this season, people are buying again on Texas. I just don't understand at this point, although I will say I think I do lean Texas with the points here, but I don't love it. I'm not obsessed with this game betting-wise. I'm just excited to watch it. But, Javon, some crazy trends here, my man. Alabama has been a favorite by 7 or fewer points just 8 times. The Tide is just 3-5 in those 8 games. 2-6 ATS. So what that tells me is when the books are giving Alabama's opponents respect, the opponents have typically covered. So that's why I probably lean Texas here in this spot, although that's a crazy task they have on their hands going into Tuscaloosa and trying to pull off a win in front of that crowd. It's not going to be easy, but I will say I'm sure as heck not laying the points with Bama, although I know Javon is, so I want to hear his spiel.
Yeah, I am. Something like I am so out on Texas in general, but I'm also out on Quinn Ewers. So I'm going to take the 7. Quinn Ewers was very questionable, especially early in the game against Rice. But the one thing that really stood out to me about their offense against Rice, 8 tackles for loss for the Rice defense. They were dominating their offensive line for a majority of the game, which was really shocking to me because that was kind of the one thing that I thought Texas was going to be good. And I still think they'll be good, like in the context of the Big 12. Again, like I like Texas. I think they're going to be good. I think somebody said on, I figured it was Twitter or a show or something, they're a touchdown better than everybody else in the Big 12, which outside of Oklahoma, I somewhat agree. But up against Alabama, they are going to struggle against that D-line. And we saw it with TCU last season. It's like the first thing that comes to mind. The way that game played out was a lot due to the defensive lines on both sides. It was almost kind of weird and embarrassing to see. But I think it's going to be something similar here. Like I trust Alabama. Dave came on and said a year where everybody's forgetting who Nick Saban is, he's going to remind you. And I think they're going to remind him early and often against Texas. And Quinn Ewers is going to look like a deer in headlights in Tuscaloosa against this team, especially early in the game. I think they get to him. So I don't hate an Alabama first half play. Maybe Texas sneaks in, especially if you have only the 7.5 available. But it's all tied for me.
Okay. Can I get a thumbs up on the under? It's moved down a little bit. Obviously,
Yeah.
I already lean unders in games like this, right? This is debatably the college football game of the season. Just like last night on Primetime NFL, we talk about it. Guys, the books know what the public is going to do. They know that people want to bet points and overs in these big games. And I don't blame those people. If you're one of those people who doesn't do this, not throwing $100 on bets, we don't unit chain, okay? If you're just throwing bets for fun, totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to bet overs for fun, sure, go ahead. Just know that it's a moose shit wager. Plain and simple. But the splits are sharp on the under, Javon. The total's moving down. I would love to take this under. And if you're saying Quinn Ewers is really going to struggle, and he did not look great in week 1, do you have enough confidence in Bama's offense not putting up a 40-burger in this one?
Yeah, I do. I like that under as well. I mean, if that's your way. It's tough because, I think Bama, it's a question is their offense, they're going to put up 20 or they're going to put up 50, but definitely lean the former. I think it's going to be some growing pains for them as well with Milroe, and Texas' defense will hang in there. Just they'll be outgunned, but I do like the under. I think it's going to be points-wise relatively similar to what we saw last year.
Okay. To be honest, Chad, that's probably how I'm going to play this game. As much as I want to take a side, I'm going to use my self-control. I don't love a side, especially after hearing Javon pitch to Bama. Jesus. And I'm just going to take the under and go about my day. It's not fun. It's not flashy. But at the end of the day, it's probably going to hit. So I'm taking
it. Green's green.
All right. Green's green. Yes, sir. All right. Arizona, Mississippi State, Javon. We're going to power through these late-night games. What are your thoughts on the Wildcats on the road here against Mississippi State? Are you taking the points?
I'm not. I was honestly initially going to go with Mississippi State in this one, just another matchup that I thought in the trenches. I still do think that Mississippi State's going to dominate them, especially in the run game. But something in the back of my head is just telling me that Arizona is going to stick in this game, especially talk about, I know they're going to Mississippi State, but a lot of these weird Pac-12 games where a lot of the middling SEC teams face them, it never ends up going well. It's always a super weird games. That's honestly just more plums anything in the back of my head telling me that this is going to be somewhat of a close game. So for that reason, I'm out.
Wow. Okay. Gun to your head, what are you playing in this game?
Gun to my head, I would probably take Mississippi State, but I really don't love it, and I don't want to fade Arizona, to be honest with you. But I do think we're going to find out early in this game how it's going to go. So you're going to see a either a dominant little stretch where they do with the run game, and then Rodgers comes out and is absolutely electric and tears apart that defense. So it could get early or get ugly very early, but I think Arizona climbs back late.
Okay, maybe Mimon sneaking in the back door down there in Mississippi.
Yeah, I'm not willing to go to the grave with anything in this game unless it's on the Prize Picks board, but
That's fair.
it's weird.
All right, let's keep moving and grooving. Wisconsin and Wazoo. This is a weird matchup, and we got some sub bangs. Don't fade 86. I won't. Giving out a sub bang to Escobar 80. Escobar, you just got gifted a sub bang. W's for Don't Fade 86. You're a beast. We got Rickster coming in, sub banging as well. Codes Van, sub banging too. We had a hype train going. Let's go, folks. Vibes are up. Vibes are up. Javon, let me know what you think about Wisconsin and Wazoo. Where do you lean in this game?
Leaning under. I'm still in the context that I think, Washington State's going to sneak in this game or stay in this game. I know we saw them last season beat Wisconsin in Camp Randall, which was shocking to me. I think I actually laid the points, and it was like a fat 3-touchdown spread or something with Wisconsin there. Yeah. And obviously that was a terrible wager. But I still think they're going to stay in this game, and I think it's not going to be because they're scoring 40 points. I think it's going to be because we're seeing these growing pains with Wisconsin. I talked about this a little bit when we were talking about win totals, at the beginning of the season, because Wisconsin was a very popular play. A lot of people love that over 8.5. I'm not that in on Terry Mordecai. I think he's going to be fine. But overall, the switching of schemes, it overcomplicates that offense for me, especially like people don't realize switching offensive line blocking schemes is a massive effect, a little bigger of an effect than a lot of people realize, a lot of people who haven't played the position. But offensive line, switching the blocking scheme seemed to really hurt them, especially early in that game last week. Tanner Mordecai also wasn't fantastic. The run game was a little less explosive than I'd hoped. So, I think Washington State, they hang in this game. Wisconsin does enough offensively, maybe squeaks out like a field goal win. And this is a lower scoring game, kind of similar to how it played out last year, just maybe in Wisconsin's favor this time.
Okay. Damn. People forget Wazoo went in there last year and won that game. That's actually nuts.
Yeah, that was a crazy game.
Holy smokes. Okay. All right, we move. I hate that game. I don't even want to talk about it. Let's go to Sam Houston State, Javon. Your team.
The GOATs.
People forget this was the bet that ended my 11-game losing streak last weekend when I lost 11 bets in a row on Friday and Saturday. People forget that. Chad, you guys want to hear something crazy, though? Even with that being the case, and I do track all my bets. I might not track them all publicly. I do track them all publicly for NFL, college football, and college basketball, my best sports. But the last 30 days, I've tracked all my bets. I don't care if you don't believe me because I believe me and I know it's true. Last 30 days, 56, 51, and 0, up a measly 3 units. Not up here to brag or say that's great, but I'm telling you right now, if you don't know that betting's all about roller coasters and ups and downs, and if you don't know you're going to have 5-game win streaks, maybe 10-game losing streaks, sure, that might be a lot. That's honestly impressive, but it's going to happen. It's ups and downs. You can't reach. If I was a bozo and I was stressing and I put 20 units on a play Saturday night to get out of fucking piss, I probably would have lost my next bet. Don't force. Stick to the freaking bankroll management. I know it's not fun, but it's going to keep you out of piss. Plain and simple. All right? And you guys know I always keep it real. Straight up. All right? I'll tell you what I'm losing. I'll tell you what I'm winning. I don't give a shit. I'm honest. Let's move. Yeah. Sam Houston, Javon, that's the nuke this weekend, huh?
It's not a nuke. It's not my it's definitely not my meat on table play like it was last week, which that was disgusting to watch. But it's a pretty similar game in my eyes, especially now. Like, this is a very low total game. We have a 37 total here. Yeah, stay out of urine. That's the goal. 37 total with just about a 2-touchdown line. And now, like, new clock rules, like it's you're getting a number with the total that reflects that. But Air Force and a lot of these service academies that are still running the triple option, they're going to have trouble covering these larger spreads. That's a trend that a lot of people have pointed out for years. And they're a 2-touchdown favorite against a really good defense, too. Like, Sam Houston, a big reason why I backed them, it obviously isn't because of their offense. They scored 0 touchdowns, 0 points against BYU, but their defense kept them in the game. They're really good, especially on the front seven there. So, like, I think they're going to be able to contain the triple option to a solid degree here. And this is going to be a game, especially if you get like a 14 or 14.5, which has been floating back and forth in front of for the last day or two. You might only need a touchdown to cover this. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game, honestly, without the abysmal quarterback play, and not just because he was inefficient, but he threw 3 picks, I think, in pretty crucial situations. Sam Houston would have been in the running to win that game against BYU in Provo. So now they're at home, where Air Force is really going to need to dominate them for the entire 60 minutes in the ground game, where the clock is going to be churning for the entire game for them not to cover this line. So I think Sam Houston actually scores this week and they cover the game.
I mean, they showed so much heart last week. I am more than down to go back to them. That team was gritty. But I was watching the Nats. I was watching them play. Lay the points with Sam Houston. They're legit. Fade Air Force. They stink. Is what it is. All right. 3 more games, Javon. And these are some of your specialties. Some of these teams you know very well. Some of these teams you've taken this year for your futures of the season. Let's go to Auburn, Cal. Javon, you talked about this on BTL 2 weeks ago. You said that Auburn was going to lose to Cal in this game, and people acted like you shot their family when you said it. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Again, another overreaction. Now we're here. And I'll tell you what, I haven't heard much shit talk about this take for the last week after how Cal looked in week 1. And I'm not impressed by Auburn either. Okay, they looked okay. Nothing special. I still think Cal is a great look here on the points, Javon, and I'm sure you feel the same way.
100%. And I especially love that it's down to 6. The 6.5 down to 6. In at least my experience, when you're talking about dogs here, it's been pretty telling. So to see that on Cal and Texas Tech, like we were just saying, I think that's something that you don't want to let by the wayside there. But yeah, I haven't wavered. Cal's winning this game too. I love everything about Cal on the spot. Again, a weird Pac-12 SEC matchup where the SEC team is going on the road. I can name 50 times off the top of my head where a Pac-12 team has hosted an SEC team in a late night game and it hasn't gone well. I mean, Cal's been the recipient of a couple of them. But yeah, Auburn's in the same spot here, especially like I wouldn't be as confident about this game if it was week 10. And yeah, Cal has been, when they're on national TV, ESPN, and it's a late night game, they've been them. But if this game was in week 6, I wouldn't feel nearly as confident. But you have to remember with Auburn here, yes, they're going on to a true road game on the other side of the country with a new quarterback in Peyton Thorne, who, if we talk about what happened week 1, it was a lot of the run game, which honestly didn't look as impressive as I'd hoped against UMass. But this is like the first time you're really going to have to break in Peyton Thorne in this offense. So week 2, going on the road against a Pac-12 team who, to be honest with you, like a lot of the lore of Colorado is you don't have much tape on them because they're super unpredictable. Cal, their offense and what they're going to do is a massive question mark, especially with Sam Jackson being, I think he's going to play, but a lot of the things that he'd do are just super unpredictable, and you don't really know what he's going to do in that offense. So I think that's working in their favor, how unpredictable they're going to be. The run game is going to be great for Cal. Jaden Odd is an animal. I don't care what his rushing number drops at. I'm taking it. Honestly, the Auburn defense against the run didn't look great against UMass. They were getting pushed through the line, which I wasn't expecting at all, so that made me feel that much more confident. Cal's defense and the linebackers are a lot better than people give them credit for. This is going to be one of the better defensive units in the Pac-12. It's all lining up for an upset. Cal wins late night, Pac-12 after dark, and this will be a massive win for the future.
Outright. Yeah.
I didn't hear what you said. You cut out.
Outright.
Outright. They win.
Money line.
Yes. And they're a big reason why I took the future is because I think they'd be, because like the number was pretty sharp. If you look at the games like they're supposed to win and the games that on paper like this and like Oregon, like USC, people say they have no chance. It lands right on that 5. And I ain't betting for pushes. So they're winning 6 games. They're in absolute conversation for an upset here. Same thing when USC comes to Cal. Honestly, same thing on the road against Oregon, but that's a little more of a long shot. But USC and Auburn, they're winning, or Auburn and USC, they're winning one of those games. And I think it starts now.
Okay. Chad, you heard it here first. If you're looking for a little juicy ML piece for the weekend, Javon's favorite play of Saturday's slate is his Cal Bears.
Yeah. And I will say, I think if you're looking kind of for an approach to the late night, another dog that I think we get one or two, at least, of these outright, right under him, Arizona State against Oklahoma State, who they couldn't have looked less impressive, I think, against Central Arkansas. And I love fading teams early in the season when they have new quarterback situations like we talk about what's happening with Auburn and Peyton Thorne, but Oklahoma State, they have 3 quarterbacks, and all of them are bad. Garrett Rangel, Gunnar Gundy, and Alan Bowman. None of them looked the slightest bit good, and Mike Gundy, he agreed because they asked him about who was going to start, and he was like, yeah, you guys watch the game. That's a tough decision. You know why it was a tough decision? Because they all sucked, and they were playing Central Arkansas, and they couldn't do anything in the offense. Honestly, Gunnar Gundy probably looked the best out of the 3. But this is a tricky game, another weird game where they're going on the West Coast here. Oklahoma State, they were in kind of a similar sharp spot last year that didn't come remotely close to playing out like a lot of the sharps and people betting it similarly to how I'm betting it this year. I kind of thought it was going to go. I think we see a Jalen Rashada masterclass against that defense that everybody will be reminded how bad they're going to be this season. One of these dogs between Cal and ASU wins outright. I think it's both of them, but conservative, if you're going to play a little late night approach, take both MLs. Your make coin.
Take both MLs for a unit. One of the 2 is winning. You go about your day up coins. It's that simple, folks. Listen to the Javon Milk Whisperer, and you win coins. It's that simple. Okay. Dog's going to be barking this Saturday night. Wow. Yeah, they better be, because I took pretty much every dog last Saturday and not a single one hit. Pretty sure every favorite hit last week. Not actually, but honestly, probably pretty close. It was all favorites last week, guys. Don't let the recency bias get to you. The dogs will be barking on Saturday. I'm so with it.
100%.
Favorite play of the college football Saturday week 2 slate, Javon? You going with your Cal Bears in the spread?
Cal +6, Rico on the ML.
Sure. Okay. My favorite play of the weekend. Let me see. I want to make sure it's actually the play that I'm going to be giving out. Oh, yeah, it is. Nebraska. +3. I'll take the points. Not going to need them. They're winning. You guys are all going to be eating your words and crying the DM. Okay? Stop acting like you're on the team, folks. They're not winning that game. Nebraska, meat on tape, +3. They get it done. All right? Let's move. Let's talk some baseball, folks. We got games today. MLB Milk, I bet. It's coming, guys. We got plenty of time today. We can stay on here for hours. Maybe make Josh late for his date, too. Okay? Let's keep moving and grooving. Crabs on Monday. If Nebraska wins, it's going to be crazy. I mean, either way, whether they win or lose, I will come on here and address it. Plain and simple, like I always do. Let's move. MLB slate, Javon, cheat sheet. The people need it. Can you give the people a rundown?
Yeah, we'll give the people a rundown. It's a little shorter because I have to explain some stuff that you can't see just on the cheat sheet. But home run targets, I think we see runs again in the Yankees game, which I'm really hoping more of them come from the Yankees because I'm strongly rooting against everybody in the NL playoff race, including the Brewers. But honestly, I think the Brewers are very live here against Severino, who's sneakily been pitching pretty well recently, and I don't like Colin Rea in the slightest, but we'll talk about that game when we get there. Tyone's already pitching. Mackenzie Gore on the bump against the Dodgers, even without Mookie. I don't think he has a shot to pitch all that well today. But then PvP, Jose Altuve's on the cheat sheet. Love his matchup today, and we'll talk about that a little bit when we get to that game. Or I guess we can talk about it now since it's at the bottom. I think Blake Snell served some turkeys today, which is – I was talking with Trent a little bit about it. That's the reason why he kind of flip-flopped to wanting to fade him for the goat whale or chirping the goat whale. But they're really good against lefties, and they're also super patient. They're the best team against lefties in the last 30 days. You can see that down there by a pretty wide margin. They're also super patient. They walk a lot. They also don't strike out. They're also really good against the curveball. It's kind of everything that Blake Snell finds success with. So, like, the Astros are a disaster of a matchup for him, and I think that's the reason why you're seeing Hunter Brown, who honestly he hasn't been in the rotation for the entirety of the season now, but when he has been for the last handful of starts, he's been terrible. So, like, that's the reason I think we see this line continuing to creep up. Yes, the Padres suck. Yes, the Astros are red hot, starting to take control of that division. But Blake Snell against Hunter Brown, the line is there for a reason, especially when the Padres, Trent always says it, the only time they win is with Snell on the mound. Not today. We're back in the Astros bats. We're also back in the Reds. We can gloom. Drew Rom, been god-awful since he came back. He throws like – yeah, he does. He does. But Drew Rom, I don't want to say he's Ryan Yarbrough because that's not the case, but he's a lefty who throws a 90-mile-per-hour fastball that gets destroyed, and he doesn't strike anybody out. So, like, the Reds have not been fantastic against left-handed pitching for the last couple months. But a lot of it's been because they faced like high strikeout guys. Like Kyle Harrison absolutely destroyed them, but he struck them out 11 times. Drew Rom's not going to do that. He's also a rookie in his 4th career start, I believe.
With
so
a
like
7 ERA, by the way.
Yeah, with a 7 ERA, he's bad. So like in Great American Ballpark too, if you're throwing a 90-mile-per-hour fastball at the most, that's 45 almost % hard hit rate, and you're not striking guys out with it. Spencer Steer is going to feast. Harrison Bader is going to feast. Hunter Renfroe is going to feast. Tyler Stevenson is going to feast. Noel V. Marte is going to feast. They're all going to hit today, and there's a reason why. A majority of those guys are up on prize picks when they're never there. So we're going to see runs from the Reds today, and they're going to score. Drew Rom is going to get moosed, and that'll do it.
Okay. How about that, Chad? A good old meat cheat right before the weekend. Needed it. Okay.
Needed it. Needed it.
Let's go, Chad. Well, besides Mackenzie Gore, I believe everything you just said. I love it.
Yeah.
I get behind it. Except for that tally and home run targets, I guess, today. But who knew the wind was going to be blowing in?
Yeah, this was crafted last night, so I was before the wind. But
yeah, we moved. We moved, and I am more than down to fade Snell with you today with that line. Are you kidding me? GG Gallen. GG Gallen. Is it over? Let me know. All right, Javon, let's power through the MLB slate. I want you to be captain here. Take us through the games. If you like anything, let us know. If you don't, we move.
Yeah, Mariners, Rays. I really don't love anything in this game. Honestly, I think the Rays might be live, which I hate taking them as an underdog. But Taj Bradley has already seen – this was kind of one of the starts of his downfall when he pitched in Seattle and Arizona and when they're on like the West Coast road trip before he got sent down to the minors. But he's come back, fixed his pitch mix, stopped throwing a cutter, which was his worst pitch by far. They got crushed. Throwing a lot more changeups. You're going to get a lot more swing and miss. I like his strikeouts, even with the big bump that they had because they had a mistake projection up on prize picks for a while. But I think Taj pitches pretty well today. And Kirby, I think he does too. I don't mind the under, but I hate going to it after a 1-0 game. So I'd rather back the Rays. So I'm with you there. Reds ML, I hate that it's probably – I haven't looked at the splits, but I can only imagine it's getting hammered. I also hate that the Cardinals have randomly started hitting well. And now they're facing Andrew Abbott, and we need no Goldie home runs for our Spaces Goat Whale. He's probably getting one today, which I absolutely hate to say. But Drew Rom and the rest of that bullpen, they're going to get destroyed. So I'm very picky about when I back the Reds when I know they're super public, but I'll do it today. White
and
Sox
the Reds
Tigers
are very public real quick. They're getting
Yeah.
a zillion bets and handle, but you knew that going in.
Yeah, I knew that. So fine with that. You can stop me if you have any plays in these games, but White Sox
Keep on
Tigers,
rolling, I will.
Yeah, White Sox Tigers, I don't have anything. Marlins Phillies. This feels like a weirdly high total to me. And I know we've seen some Christopher Sanchez regression, but Yuri Perez has been fantastic. So like I think if you're seeing a 9 total, which you're not going to make the Marlins a favorite by any means, but I still think a lot of respect for what we've seen from out of Christopher Sanchez lately. Minus 142 with a 9 total. It's telling me you're going to get some Therix out of Yuri Perez today. The strikeouts are going to be there, but we talk about the guys that are very boomer bust in that lineup, like a Kyle Schwarber. I wouldn't be surprised to see a leadoff Schwarbomb today. Like a lot of the guys in that lineup, I think you're going to see some runs out of them today. It's Sanchez. I do target the Marlins when they're facing righties. They're not facing righty. They're facing a lefty with really bad numbers, and I know there's no Soler with them for the next week or so, but a lot of that lineup has still been seeing lefties very well. So I think we get runs from both sides. I do like that over 9. So that was very close to making the best bets. The Dodgers, I really don't know how to take the Dodgers today because I do think they're going to in play against Mackenzie Gore, but I really don't love any of the lines. Like I don't want to lay them minus 155. I don't love the over because Emmett Sheehan, every time I fade him as a part of a bet, he comes out and he's Nolan Ryan. The team total is a little high too. So I don't know what I'm going to do there. That's kind of undecided, but I don't think Mackenzie Gore pitches all that well. Probably something to target on the prize picks board. Next game down here, Brewers, Yankees. I like runs here, and I honestly think the Brewers are live as much as I hate to say it. I despise Colin Ray. I don't think he's a great pitcher by any means. He outperforms his metrics every single time he steps to the mound, which is super frustrating because I've faded him plenty of times. But Severino's been randomly, I don't want to say Nolan Ryan because that's a little bit of a stretch, but he's pitched a little better than I think everybody has expected Luis Severino to pitch over the past handful of starts. And the Brewers, The one thing that they do is they expose pitchers like that, which is why they're super frustrating to fade. It's like today, they're going to hit the ball hard, which a majority of the top of the lineup does well. The bottom of the lineup gets very lucky off of softly hit balls. Like Andrew Monasterio is the most confusing man in baseball to me. He's going to be a guy that would randomly have success against Luis Severino today. But I think we get runs from both sides. I'm not expecting a Colin Rea masterclass by any means. I know it's the Yankees against a righty where they've struggled, but they're playing better, a lot better baseball, especially offensively since they called up Dominguez. Just a little bit of juice in the locker room. So I think we do get some runs there and a Brewers little sneak win. I really don't have much on the Kikuchi potential masterclass against the Royals. Feels like a gross under game to me, but I really don't know the Royals bullpen plans after Snyder, so keep me away there. I assume you have a play in this game in Orioles Red Sox in Fenway.
Give me the Sox
Right.
on the NL. I'm fading your guy Bradish. It is what it is, but I kind of like this hook guy. I do. And I like the Red Sox here at home to end the Orioles' little win streak they got going on. This line is short as heck. In Boston, we know that the Red Sox get some they obviously get, a fatter line than they should. At home, they've been doing that for years. Great point by Camus Money that he brought up to me last year. That is true. I've noticed that for the last couple of years. The Red Sox get more respect at home. But either way, I don't care where the heck they're playing. I don't care if they're playing on Mars. The line should not be minus 120 with Kyle Bradish, who should be up there for AL Cy Young Award against Hook. This is ridiculous. Red Sox are slumping. Orioles are on fire. This line is disrespectful. Give me the Red Sox. And that total's high. We know totals are always high in Fenway, but also a great sign for the Red Sox bats because we know they're not winning this game in a pitcher's duel.
Yeah, shout out my guy Bradish too. He's been damn near Cy Young
He's
caliber.
a beast.
But
He's a beast.
Yeah. He's a goat. I want my apologies in writing from chat about last year when he was first started showing flashes towards the end of the year, but he was terrible at the beginning of the year. But yeah, I think this is a pretty tough matchup for him in Fenway. And yeah, I've seen the earned run square, which you're going to see that a lot again in Fenway with the line respect that the Red Sox get and where the odds kind of end with a high total. But it is still very weird for as well as he's been pitching. So I think the Red Sox jump all over him. I'm not quick to back Tanner Houck because I hate that the Red Sox make him a starter. He really should not be. So we start to see reasons why he shouldn't every time he steps to the mound as a starter. So I like the over or maybe a Red Sox team total instead of backing them on the ML because I do think we get runs. But yeah, I don't think Bradish pitches all that well today.
Yep, I'll bet it for you. Give me the ML. I'm not scared. But I'm with you on that team total. That's probably a better, safer. I hate when people say safer angle or safer bet because it's safe, but it's probably a better angle.
Can say it feels like the smarter angle.
More reasonable. Reasonable outcome. Okay.
There you go. More reasonable. That's the way to put it.
Okay. Red Sox bats.
We can keep mowing through these games.
Keep going.
I've bet on the Braves enough. So I'm good. I'm good today.
Good job. We move.
Yeah, I don't think Mitch Keller is going to pitch well, but I'm not backing Bryce Elder either. Same thing here. I don't really have much. A's, Rangers, Jordan Montgomery against the team you've seen plenty of times. Same with Paul Blackburn. I'm out. Astros, I'm on them. We've talked about that a little bit. Great against lefties. Horrible matchup for Blake Snell. Continue. Mets, Twins. I like the first 5 under in this game, even with Dallas Keuchel on the mound. Which for Dallas Keuchel, the Mets have not been good against left-handed pitching. Sans Corbin. So like that trend is going to continue, I think. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. He doesn't count, which Dallas Keuchel probably really doesn't count all the time either, depending on which Keuchel shows up. I think you get good Keuchel today. And then on your side, you also have Kodai Senga, who I think he absolutely deals. It sucks that he's not at home where he's not at his strongest, but against the Twins, who strike out a ridiculous amount, especially against changeups / splitters, which he's going to give the ghost fork, which is like a combination of the two. I think they struggle a lot. We see, I don't know, something like the Zach Gallen Dallas Keuchel game when he first got called up that everybody thought was very suspicious and still took the square set anyway, and Dallas Keuchel dealt. And it was like 0-0, 1-1 through 5. I think it's something similar to that. I don't want to get involved in the bullpens. And honestly, with the line sitting at a pick 'em, it makes me think it's going to be very competitive like that, especially early in the game. So give me a lack of runs there. Then I don't think I have.
Real quick, for our guy Daniel, if you had to bet the Braves game, and I know he's been sneak betting the Braves. He sent me a text yesterday. He's been tailing.
Yeah.
Would you go back to the well if you had to?
I mean, I would probably just take the game over at that point because I mean Bryce Elder regression is here, and I don't love the Pirates bats, but it's just they are a great sinker hitting team, which is a lot of what Bryce Elder is going to throw. So like there's not many great matchups for the Pirates, but that could be a good one. So like
Okay, maybe just back the over in the game. Okay,
yeah, just
I get behind that too. Elder stinks. I'm with it.
Yeah, 100%. I don't have anything else in the rest of the slate except Kyle Harrison strikeouts.
Lean in the Twins game for Chipper.
First 5 unders is my play there.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, Kyle Harrison strikeouts for me in the night slate. I want to back him because all of the lines for him, they look like he's going to deal. But my one concern for the guy, and I say this with the Rockies all the time, they hit the ball hard. Kyle Harrison throws a lot of strikeouts, and he's gotten the ball hit hard off of him a lot when it has been put in play. The thing he's just been doing is he's been striking out the entire world because he's a strikeout artist at heart. So, like, he could easily go out there and strike out 11 Rockies, who have been the worst team against lefties for a couple months now in the league by a pretty decent margin. But one thing that scares me with a low total game and backing the Giants in some form or fashion is maybe the 2 that get put in play or put over the wall. And the Giants offense doesn't do all that much in an 8 total game. So like, I think Harrison K's is what I'm going to stick to there.
W's. Harrison K's. I think the best bet on the board today is just going Houston ML. Get the one MLB winner today. Is it Houston ML?
Yeah. That would be it.
W's. Fade Snell today. It is what it is. Don't love doing it. He's a friend of the program, but money's green. Got to fade him. He's not going to have his best day today. Seeing Houston and Hash Brown, my guy, as a favorite. I know they've been hot. I know the Padres are moose, but Padres get line respect for no reason. And just seeing Blake Snell, who might win the Cy Young as an underdog, is enough for me to fade.
100%.
W's. Awesome. Guys, if you haven't joined the Survivor Pool, please join it. You have until Sunday. It's free. I don't know why you wouldn't. And I'm gonna give out $100 to people who last longer than me, but you're not going to. Join the Survivor Pool. Free. You can win Super Bowl tickets. Super easy and fun to do the entire season. Whole Bucket Squad's going to be doing it and sweating it out all year. So make sure you guys join right here. The link is down in the Twitch chat. Join the Bucket Sports Survivor Pool. Right here. Boom. There it is. 2 words. Boom.
Or I guess the graphic got posted, but you're going with the commies this week, Grabs?
Yeah. I mean, Josh, if you want to pull up the Survivor graphic, more than down to do that as we pivot into some NFL talk for the week. And then we do the squad rides. Let's get that Survivor graphic up here, though, as we pivot to some NFL talk. Let's do it. I'm in. I'm literally winning this sweat. I don't know what that means. Assuming you mean I'm literally winning this bet, but if you can't even spell, how are you going to last longer than me in the Survivor Pool? I know Krabs is taking the earn run square for Snell. He hasn't given up more than 2 earn runs in the past 11 road starts. You're goddamn right, Phils.
Yeah.
You know me so well, my man. You're goddamn right. Looks like we got the Survivor Pool picks in. Looks like we got them. Trent's going Broncos. That could be sharp.
Could be so sharp.
That could be sharp, or it could bite him in the ass. We got Chelly on the Ravens, Javon on the Ravens. I like that pick. They'll get a win. I'm on my Manders. I'm taking command. All right. This is the only time you can back this team all season. I understand why you don't want to take them. I've been telling people not to take them because I don't want them to be the public team this week in the Survivor Pool, but I've come to the realization that it's going to be the case anyways. So I'm going to put my left hand up right here. Who are we? We're the Manders, and we're going to win this week. We might not cover. It might be gross. It might be close, but we're playing the tanking Cardinals. The Commanders are going to win under the new regime. We're taking it.
Yeah, I like Commanders. I was between them and the Ravens, and I didn't just take the Ravens because they're the biggest favorite on the board, but I'm not going to act like I'm a Survivor Pool veteran or anything, or I got it down to a science, but I like to fade rookie quarterbacks early in the season with Survivor picks. And if CJ Stroud takes down Lamar and what should be a Super Bowl contending Ravens team, I'll tip my cap in week 1.
Sure. 100%. I'm with it. We got Lauren back in her Falcons. Pretty sure she's rooting for them this season. They got Bijan. Mikey's got the Vikes. Ooh. Let's hope we get all 6 people advanced in chats. I'm rooting for the whole squad. Let's hope for minimal cake for week 1 in the Survivor. We want to make this a contest. We don't want everyone losing week 1. And I'll tell you what, the Manders probably will be the most popular pick, and I'm okay with it. I've come to that realization. It is what it is. We move.
I would assume the Ravens have to be
Probably second.
More popular or close.
Guys, join the Survivor pool. It takes 2 seconds. All right? We move. We groove. Let's talk NFL, Javon. We don't have to go over all the games, but we should at least go over the ones we got plays in that we like. Do you want to start with Cincinnati and Cleveland?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I'm definitely on the Browns there.
Yeah. Give me the Browns on the spread. The Browns own the Bengals. They absolutely own them. They're pretty much the only team that really has Joe Burrow's number at this point. And I'm willing to go back to the well and back that Browns defense and back your guy, Deshaun Watson. Nobody clipped that. To not only cover this game, but probably even win. But I'm going to take the points. All right, we've seen the spread move from, -1 to -2. Pretty much the main move there, probably with the Joe Burrow news that he's healthy, ready to roll. Also, he just got paid. Congrats to him. He's a beast, no doubt about it. But for some reason, the Browns have his number. And playing that Week 1 game at home in Cleveland, and you're already hearing guys like Jamar Chase chirping the Browns. He said, I almost called them the Elves because they got that freaking elf in the center of the field. You're really talking that talk against a team that has your number? And you don't think they're going to be talking about that in the locker room before the game? That's an interesting tactic there. That's probably why the Bengals haven't broken the seal and won a Super Bowl yet. I'll take my chances on the Browns with the spread in a nasty spot at home when nobody wants to back the Browns. On it.
Yeah, and I think this is the first game, which, I mean, it's the first game of the season, but first game where people are going to start to realize, because we talked about the Browns a little bit yesterday, and a lot of the comments were about their defense, saying it was terrible. You're going to realize very quickly a lot of the improvements that they've made, and obviously you have some guys that have stayed and improved, and the big Myles Garrett, who's going to be absolutely amazing, especially opposite of Zadarius Smith. They're going to dominate a lot of this game, and people are going to realize that very quickly, and that'll be the Browns are here talk. So defense is going to lock in. Hopefully Burrow is a little, I don't want to say rusty, but he's been in full go for like a week now, so hope he's a little tough under center, but I think the Browns win this one and taking the +2. I also really like your guy Nick Chubb to get in the end zone today. I think you get the first of that goat whale square, or on Sunday, I should say. He's up for half a pass rush and receiving touchdown, so just anytime touchdown square on PP. I'll be taking that over, 100%.
Beautiful. Music to my ears. Love it. Chubb is already in the end zone. Kaprizov saying in chat, I'm with him, my man. I'm with him. He's going to grub this season. He's going to finish what Deshaun starts on these drives.
Yeah,
Browns
100%.
100%. Guys, Manders, I wouldn't be laying the points. If anything, I'd take the under gun in my head in this game. Our defense is going to suffocate them with or without Chase Young. Honestly, they might play better without him. And the Cardinals are just not going to score simply. And I really think the Manders offense is probably going to have some nerves early in this game. Also, rumor has it, according to my weather app, it's probably going to be raining on Sunday. So that's a grass field, and that's a shit field. I'll tell you that much. Our guy, Josh Harris, has not fixed that yet. It's going to be a tough playing surface. You're going to see both teams resorting to running the ball. James Conner, you're going to see a lot of him. You're going to see a ton of Gibson and B-Rob probably. And I know Sam Howell does have a start under his belt from last season, but it's still pretty much like his debut in this game, right? It's like him, finally getting that starting QB role. There might be some nerves, and he's looked great so far, but I wouldn't be surprised if Arizona finds a way to cover that game. I'd stay off the Manders on the spread. We'll leave it at that. But they do win. Give me the under in that game. Talk about the Titans and the Saints, Javon. What do you like about those two teams?
This is a tough one because it feels like I don't like backing, especially in week one, a very popular road sort underdog. So I'm pretty torn, honestly, on whether I'm going to do it. I do still lean the Titans. Like I talked about, I think we're going to see the Saints get exposed, especially on defense a little bit this season. I'm not all that concerned about their offense. I think it's just going to be fine, but the Vrabel defense is going to be locking in as well. So I think this has a potential to be a wild variety of things. I do like the Titans to kind of hang in this one, but it's probably not one that I'm willing to go to the grave with just yet.
Well, I will. Give me the Titans on the spread. They keep this within the number for reasons like this. And Anthony, I'm not roasting you, brother. You're not the only one. Nobody even knows who the hell is starting for the Titans. Nobody cares about this team. They're not flashy. They're not fun. They win with defense. They got Derrick Henry. They run the ball down your throats. They don't got Mahomes, throwing for 400 yards a game. Nobody cares. Everyone's done with the Titans, I feel like. I don't get it. They're one of the most well-run, most disciplined football programs in the NFL. and they have Mike Vrabel, and they have Derrick Henry. And the Saints have a lot of new pieces this season that they got to get going. It might take them a couple weeks to really get up and running, and that's not a team I believe in anyway. So give me the Titans on the spread. They cover. Give me Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, I'm definitely leaning that way. I'll tell you that much. I might get to the button before Sunday.
Okay.
But yeah, that's where I'm at.
Dubs. And I don't want to skip the two early games that we passed, Tampa, Minnesota, and Jacksonville, Indiana. Real quick, we'll go over those two. Javon, Bucks report. Go ahead.
Under. Like you talked about with the Bucks. Because I think this line is absolutely disgusting.
Yep.
The Bucks should be no shorter than a touchdown, in my opinion. But if they're going to stay in this game, I've talked about this a little bit. Like I don't like backing the Bucks. I think they're going to be putrid offensively. They're going to stay in their game with their defense, which I think their unit is going to be very good this season. So if there's a way going to do it, it's going to be defensively. Like I do like Kirk Cousins, the offense. I think they have a massive year. Maybe not week one against a really tough front seven, especially for the Bucks. The secondary does have some issues, but if they can pressure Kirk Cousins, it all kind of breaks down from there. Again, looking at the plus 5.5, it's really making me think, but I'm just going to stick with the under. And maybe even if the Vikings roll in this one, the Bucks, even against that defense, might not be able to score much. I think it's going to be a little bit of tough sledding for them. I do really like Chris Godwin, though. I think it's going to be a lot of him, not much Mike kind of vertically in that offense with Baker. Just a lot of short game. And, I mean, that chews the clock by itself. But this game, it's giving me hope for the Bucks, and I don't like it.
It should. And I'll tell you right now, I do want this on record. I would not be surprised if the Bucks win this division somehow. There, I said it. Yes, am I in on the Falcons? Javon, gun to my head. If I have to pick the divisional winner, I'm going Falcons. Definitely not going Saints. And I do think in my heart and brain that the Falcons win this division. But something in my gut, something's up. I don't know. Maybe I just ate something bad yesterday. I don't know what it is, but I've been feeling this way for a couple days, couple weeks, honestly, Javon. I can't get over this line in this game and that it's creeping down to 5.5. And for some reason in my head, I can't get over the graphic I saw 2 weeks ago on NFL Network with all 4 QBs in this division up there. And I just keep thinking to myself, is having Baker against these guys really that much of a disadvantage? I don't know. And if Todd Bowles can figure out some sort of way to get that defense locked in, because they still got some dogs. If he can find a way to win with defense, if Baker can pull some more magic out of his ass like he did on LA a couple of years ago when he played and filled in for them, this team could pull off something crazy in the worst division in football. Okay? This division stinks. Anybody could come out of it. I still do think the Falcons win it, but I wouldn't be shocked to see, Javon, your Bucks make some noise this year somehow, some way with that defense and with Baker, man. And this line right here makes me, want to double down on that take. It's ridiculous. I will 1,000% be on the Bucks plus 5.5 or plus 6. Make sure you guys always line shop. This line is hilarious. The Vikings are going to come out flat. I think the Bucks might catch them sleeping here. Hungry dog runs faster. Nobody believes in the Bucks. They all know that. Those guys got to go home, kiss their wives, kiss their babies on the heads when they get home and have some self-respect. They're still going to suit up and play their asses off in this spot. Maybe they'll catch the Vikings sleep.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking they might, but I cannot have any hope for them in this division. I'll be honest with you. I think they might have a run here in Minnesota for 1 week, but it stops there. Todd Bowles, the key thing you said there is if Todd Bowles can figure it out, he's a horrendous coach. Good defensively, which is why I have hope for the defense kind of being not improved because it's always been very good, but offensively, I mean, the play calling is so awful.
Yep. Is this line really weird? All we did last year was fade the Vikings on the spread. Well, how did that work, K-Staff? I lost a lot of coins fading the Vikings on the spread last season.
Justin Jefferson under touchdown this week.
Is that up on the Prize Picks board?
I believe. I know it was when they first dropped the board. Is it still up there?
Let's see.
The category is.
Would you look at that? It is. Javon, add that to my card, will you?
I figured you would.
Add it to my card. All right, we move, we groove. Let's keep on keeping on. Let's talk Jags and Colts. Javon, this might be one of my favorite plays of the weekend. Give me Anthony Richardson, who's been in the lab every hour of the freaking day this past 2 weeks in the facility, getting ready to prep for week 1 against a Jags defense that blows. They blow. And the Jags offensive line blows too. And you know what? That Chiefs D-line is just okay. And they might cause enough noise at home. They might cause enough ruckus in this spot to keep this within the number. Nobody wants to bet on Anthony Richardson. He did not look sharp in the preseason. They've got a ton of drama going on with Irsay versus Jonathan Taylor. But you know what? Running backs are replaceable. They're going to plug Zach Moss in there. It's really not going to be that much of a difference, in my opinion. All that matters is the offensive line, and their offensive line is okay. And I think they'll have an edge against the Jags D-line that's nothing special. The games are one of the trenches, folks, in the NFL. If you don't know that, coaching and trenches win games. That's how you win bets. You don't win bets by back and trendy teams like the Jags or Trevor Lawrence. That's a loser. If you bet that way, don't stop. Please change. Figure it out. But Jags minus 4.5, Javon. Bets like that, if they hit, Vegas wouldn't look like it does.
Yeah, 100%. And this is definitely one of the dogs I can get behind. Again, just kind of like we saw, not a perfect comparison, obviously, but the unpredictability of Colorado, who had plenty of new guys, especially at the quarterback position, who didn't really know what the game plan was going to be with how Deion was going to play Shedeur Sanders. Was it going to be comparable to Jackson State? Was it going to be something different? It was something completely different. The unpredictability of Anthony Richardson, like, yes, he's not the best passer. We know that, but he can do electric things in every other facet of the game. I think that's going to work incredibly to their advantage. It's like they think the Colts are very live, where the Jaguars, like, these games with the Jags and the Colts are very strange every single time they come together. And usually, I mean, you talk about what happened with Carson Wentz with the playoffs on the line. The team that plays spoiler when there is a for sure winner in this series has always played spoiler. And I think to start out the season, especially we've talked about the Jags, I think they struggle early in the season putting it together after last season with a bad offensive line, with a lot of new pieces in the skill position. You have Calvin Ridley coming back into the fold, which on paper helps, but it's tough to kind of figure out a system around that. This is a spot for the Colts to catch them, even if it requires just a field goal game and they don't win outright. I do like the 4.5 with you there.
Give me the points. We might need them in this one.
Might need them, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Couple things. Terry or Dotson? Who are you starting this week, Javon? I feel like you still got to start Terry if you have both these guys, but I don't know.
Yeah, if it was any defense like outside of the Cardinals, I would say you have to start Jahan, but like there's no number one corner that's like freeing up Jahan Dotson with that defense. So like, I don't know. You just probably got to take your risk with the injury there.
Yep, and I will say, chat, Terry McLaurin is entering this Sunday with no injury designation. That doesn't mean that maybe he's still a little banged up, but that does mean that he's healthy enough to give it a go. And the clips I've seen this week, every day, he's looked better. He's looked quick. And the clips I saw yesterday, he looked same old Terry. He looked back. Doesn't mean he couldn't re-injure it, but I'd say as of right now, things have changed over the last week or so with his injury. It was a lot worse projected. I think he's going to be okay. Knock on wood. I do. I think you got to go Terry here and start your best guy. And if you would have asked me that last week, I would have said Dotson, hands down, not even close. But as of the news I've heard this week, I think you got to go. You got to go with the best receiver. You got to go Terry. He's healthy enough. Right? I don't think you could go wrong with either of those guys, though, chat. I really don't.
Yeah, they'll both eat.
Yep. All right, Javon. Couple more late night games. Let's talk Green Bay. Let's talk Chicago. Definitely need Josh's report here on the Bears. I'll tell you what, I'm very curious to see what this line is at right now. Very curious. Oh, it's still 1.5. That's so weird. Now, I will say the books probably knew that Watson was out last week because they're freaks. They know everything. So I'm not really reading too much into the line not moving. Maybe it was already baked. But either way, whether Watson's playing or not, especially if he's not playing, this line is crazy. Josh, where's your head at with this line, bro?
I mean, I don't know. The Bears' biggest question marks are D-line. So, and their running game's been very good the last couple of years, last 3-4 years. So, I think that's where the line comes from. Like, it's the uncertainty of the line. Like, they can run the ball straight down their throats. Like, that's why I don't think the Christian Watson news is like that big, because I don't think that their game plan is going to be to spread the ball around the field a ton against us. Like, Aaron Jones and Dylan are going to get their shit done on the inside, but scares the shit out of me.
Okay. I'm with you. Maybe, the spread isn't as weird as it looks because, some of the Packers' few strengths actually could potentially, limit the Bears or, hurt the Bears potentially here with the Packers run game and their decent O-line. So I'm with you. Maybe the line's not super weird, but I mean, at least a 2.5 I was expecting. Jesus.
I
I know
know.
it's still Packers
Yeah.
Bears, and I know they own you guys, but it's a new time in Green Bay, man, and they're only giving them 1.5.
Yeah, but also it's like people. I mean, the Bears were the worst team in the league last year too. Like them even being favorites against the Packers is insane. Like just to if you were to say at the end of last year the Bears will be favorites against the Packers in Week 1, you would say that you're out of your mind.
I don't know. I don't know if I would.
Dude, I think we were so bad.
But
I
the
will
public
say-
has loved you guys since halfway through last year when Justin Fields started
Yeah, he
stepping
is
up.
electric.
The public's
He is
been
electric.
gargling.
That's fair. Very fair.
I will say, looking at the Bucks line for next week against the Bears is making me think the line is a little less weird.
What are you saying?
Say that -1 on the road.
Who?
Bears,
Bears are -1 next week against who?
the Bucks,
Ooh.
or
Huh.
1.5 now, but it seems a little less weird.
Okay.
All things considered. But I have the feeling in my plums about this game that we're about to see points.
Mm.
I like this over a lot. And a lot of it's plums, but a lot of it's I think you're talking about it in the run game. I think the Packers are going to absolutely dominate, which, I mean, this isn't college football, so it's not as much to your demise if you have a running clock compared to otherwise. But Aaron Jones, especially with Watson out, he's going to get used a lot. Love that we put him in the spaces go well because he's going to absolutely eat. A.J. Dillon is going to feast against his team too. So I think Jordan Love actually has a really good first new campaign. So his first start at Soldier Field, I guess, and I'm still not bought in on the Bears defense whatsoever. So I think they're going to give up plenty of points, but I also think they're going to be very dynamic on the offensive side of the ball. So I think this is going to be potentially one of those crazy back and forth games that we saw with the Bears towards the end of last season, where their defense just gets exposed quite a bit. But Justin Fields comes back with an answer every time. I wouldn't be surprised if it's just one of those games. I like this over 41.5.
Okay. And yeah, I'm with you. Maybe Fields pulls some magic out of his ass in this game and finds a way to win it. Maybe the Packers' big name is still carrying some weight with these lines, and maybe people are still remembering, the shit Bears for the last 5 years. So maybe the line's not that weird, especially looking at that Week 2 line. Okay. I still lean the Packers, though.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Okay. Dubs, let's talk about Philly and New England. This is a good one. Is this not even on the board right now? Oh, there it is. Wow, it's down to 4. Would you look at that? Sure. Give me the points, Jack. Give me Bill Belichick. He's recently single. He's about to be a demon this season. He's about to be a freaking mastermind out there on the field. You're going to see them doing shit that you never even thought existed before. Because Bill Belichick's on his revenge tour this season, folks. He's newly single. He's got some more time on his hands. Okay? And he's out for blood because people are starting to doubt the GOAT. They're starting to doubt Bill. Okay, the Patriots haven't been anything special the last couple of years. But I'll tell you what, I don't know what he's building up there with that depth chart or that roster, but he's building something, and I trust him. Because whenever Bill does something, it works. And I'm not giving up on him or his coaching style just yet. I think the Patriots catch the Eagles sleeping after they just went to the Super Bowl. We saw what happened with the Chiefs in Week 1. These teams who go to the bowl, you can catch them sleeping Week 1, and I'll take my chances grabbing the points and taking Ramondre Stevenson and the Patriots to run the heck out of the ball, maybe even see some Zeke in there, and keep this one within the number the entire game. It's going to be a one-possession game the whole game. It's going to be low-scoring, gross. The Eagles are going to come out flat. The Patriots are keeping this within the number. This is my favorite play of the weekend. Might be the nastiest play on the board. Putting my money where my mouth is and fading the Eagles Week 1 back in the Pats +4. Give me Mac Jones, give me Ramondre Stevenson, and give me Bill to figure it out and keep that one within the number at home.
Yeah, I've seen it too many times to feel comfortable, but I do think, at least for a stretch of this game, to keep this very competitive and the Eagles do fall flat, I do like the under a little bit better, especially I guess there's some weather considerations in a lot of these games down on the East Coast, but especially in this one. But Bill Belichick, with the entire offseason to prepare and kind of scheme his defense around for this Eagles team who generally, I mean, they benefited from a lot of softer matchups and a lot of defenses who, frankly, couldn't game plan because they didn't have the personnel to do it. against them for last year. They're going to be stunned for at least a little bit in this game against Bill Belichick and the defense, who, I mean, on paper, they never look like the strongest defense in the world, but they come back, they scheme to be, I don't know, fit the best strengths of their personnel year after year. So we're going to see that again, especially in week 1 at home in some elements as well. Just like I don't think the offense with Mac Jones is going to be all that dynamic either. I think this is going to be a low-scoring little slugfest. It's like I don't feel all that confident in the Eagles or Patriots covering, to be honest, but I wouldn't be shocked to see like a 24-17.
Okay. Josh, screen share that tweet I just put in the private chat. I want this up there while I'm talking. Guys, Bill Belichick has been the greatest coach in football for the last 10 years. I would say it's been solidified. This guy is a football mastermind. He lives and breathes it. And when he does stuff like this, it's not for no reason. Okay. You think he's just roasting this guy, Malik Cunningham, and saying, oh, yeah, we got somebody who can kind of mock him, but it's nowhere near close to what they got going on there in Philly. Don't you think this is how everyone's feeling right now? No way the Patriots can slow down Jalen Hurts after the season he just had. My goodness, there's no chance the Patriots, who are dying and everyone's hopping off Bill Belichick and the Pats, no way they keep this within the number against Jalen Hurts. He's unstoppable. We got nobody in practice who can replicate him. Well, Javon, just like you said, there's a storm brewing on the East Coast this weekend. This game's going to be muddy. It's going to be gross, and that plays right into the Patriots' hands. The Eagles are going to have no outs. You're not going to be able to have Jalen Hurts pull off miraculous deep balls to Devontae Smith when it's raining and you can barely even see down the field. So you're going to see the Eagles have to rely on the ground game, which without Miles Sanders, I know they're bringing in some other guys, but without Miles Sanders, I think that running back group has taken a step back. And I'm willing to bet that Bill Belichick is not saying this for no reason. He's saying this because he wants the Eagles as complacent as possible coming into this Sunday's game. And look, guys, all these guys are on Twitter. They all see all this shit. They probably all follow this fucking elite NFL account that posts some really good content. They probably do. You don't think the Eagles feel this way? You don't think they're coming into a freaking New England this weekend saying, oh my God, we're going to smack the Patriots. They're toast. They got Mac Jones. Their wide receiver core with freaking, what do they got? Kendrick Bourne, Juju, and they got one other guy who's absolute moose. I mean, that team stinks. There's no way they keep that within a number. Guys, this is betting on Bill. This is betting on the franchise, the organization that finds ways to keep games close and finds ways to win. And I'm not buying that Eagles gas. Fade them this weekend. And Bill Belichick knows exactly what he's doing, saying shit like this.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm not confident enough to pay to find out there, but under for me. I do think at least for a majority of the game, they keep themselves in it.
Well, chat should make you want to bet the Patriots. I'll leave it at that.
I know. I've been reading it.
Maybe they're right. Maybe the NFL will just cancel the game and they'll give the Eagles a win. Why even play it? Why even play the game? That's something I'm going to be saying to you guys for the next couple months during NFL season. I hope it starts to register, but until you guys understand that the reason we love sports so much and love betting on them is because they're unpredictable and shit happens all the time that's not supposed to. It's the way it goes, guys. Upsets happen every day. That's why we freaking love it. And that's how we make coin. If you bet on every single angle in your head that made sense, you would be down so much money you wouldn't be able to pay rent. Plain and simple. If it was as easy as betting on better teams every week, the books wouldn't exist. Vegas wouldn't look like it does today. You guys need to change your mindset. Okay? Fade the Eagles this season, especially in week 1 against Bill. Give me the points. You want to talk about Sunday Night Football?
Yeah, we can.
Same people that said Eagles already won are the same people that took Strider against the Cards. Yes, sir, CJ. I'm glad we got somebody in chat that gets it. I know most of you guys do. And this is the sharpest chat in the world. Let me give you guys some credit. This is the very sharpest chat on the planet. Okay? I'm busting your guys' balls because not every favorite is going to win every single game every day. Grow up. All right? Javon, what do you think about this Cowboys-Giants game? I obviously lean the Giants, although I'm very high on the Cowboys here. But as an NFC East fan, a guy who's been watching this division for literally almost decades, it's got to be the Giants with the points here at home. You always got to back the team in this division with the points at home. And I like both these teams this season, but playing in MetLife, I'll take my chances with the Giants getting 3.5.
Yeah, I want to be kind of reactionary with this one, see how the dogs kind of perform through the day on Sunday. But I want to go to the Cowboys here, to be honest with you. I don't think it's going to be perfect. I don't think it's going to be kind of an onslaught for them, which, I mean, if this wasn't week one, maybe I would go to this a little bit towards the end of the season. But I think they'll be fine. I think it'll be ugly. I think the offense is going to look like an offense does in week one. He's going through a new offensive coordinator and a new scheme overall in offense with Dak Prescott, who needs to take a step forward. But I think they get it done in the end. I think they win this by a touchdown. But again, not one that I'm all that confident in until maybe we get to that point after we've seen how the slate plays out.
Okay. Gonna wait that one out, see how the rest of the dogs perform on Sunday. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, because we're pretty trigger happy on some of the dogs this week. So if there's a lot of them that are coming through, which pray they are, I don't know if I want to go to one in prime time.
That's a good point. Okay. We move. Chat, we just ripped through the majority of the NFL slate for this Sunday. We went through the college football slate, the big games on Saturday. We went over MLB games for today. We ran a 2-hour stream, and we're not done yet. We still got the squad ride, folks. Can we get some W's in chat for Friday streams? W's in chat for BTL Fridays. W's in chat for our guy Joshy running the stream back end. Let's get some W's in chat for the squad rides, okay, that have won every freaking day this week, folks. We should be you guys should be feeding us freaking grapes in our mouth with how many spoon-fed winners we've been giving you guys, plain and simple. Okay, we're giving you guys free bets. No one else does this. Everyone else sells their shitty-ass picks. We give ours out for free, and they hit. That's the craziest part. Who else is going 124, 82, and 3? Nobody. And who's doing it for free? I'll tell you what. Zilch. Okay? BTL squad rides have been printing. They've hit every day this week. Before I jinx it even more, Javon, let's start crafting.
Yeah. First nomination, Glue 'em. Reds ML.
All right, Glue ML. We'll go Houston ML.
Yep.
You want to give me Illinois or no?
Yeah, you can drive the boat on that one.
If you'd rather take the under than Illinois, I'll give you a pass there if you want to. And also, Chad, I know it's Illinois. I'm going to say Illinois because it pisses you off and I like it. I'm going to keep saying Illinois.
I'm fine taking the 3.5.
Okay. Give me the points on Illinois. They're going to make some noise tonight. All right. I'm assuming you don't have anything in Indiana State, Indiana.
I mean, I like the under. I know it's going to get no votes though. So
Okay.
I mean, might as well not even bother.
Okay.
Dip back
Well,
to
what other baseball plays you want to put in? We can't forget about baseball. Although football is here and we're excited. The baseball coins have been returning home. Can't forget about it.
Can't forget about it. I mean, the more that we talked about it, I kind of liked it going in. Didn't make the best 3 down here, but honestly, that Miami Philly over, it's been looking at me funny the more we've been talking about it.
I'm more than okay with that. I thought that opener was ridiculously high, and the juice has moved towards the over in that game. Minimum. So I'm in.
Yeah.
Perez, Sanchez have both been nails. That total's high. I'm with it. Let's get some runs in Philly. Hitters friendly park. Miami's bats are hot. Philly's on fire.
Yeah.
And then let's square up there with the bats. But let's also take that contrarian over here that looks a little high on that.
Yeah. Then probably last leg I would have to say has to be something Red Sox related.
Yeah. You want to go team total? You feel you're going to be more comfortable this afternoon if we go team total?
I won't lose sleep either way. It's up to you. 4.5. Chat, what do we want? Team total or the ML? How soft are we?
Team total or ML, chat? You guys want plus Chicky? Or do you guys want
Minus
the
120.
team totals? Let's see what chat wants here. Safest. No such thing as a safe bet, my man, but noted.
Okay. Seen a lot of MLs now.
It could not have been more team totals in the beginning. Now it's all MLs. Okay. Trell Jones just gave out Illinois on Twitter. Okay. I'm going to pivot. I'm going to switch Illinois to the under. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding, dude.
That's
I'm not
the killer.
kidding.
That's
And in the stream and stealing our picks, that freaking scumbag. Because people do that. If you guys don't think we notice you guys doing that on Twitter, I'm the bigger person. I don't have time to be dealing with that, and I don't care about those people. but just know that we know that you're doing it, okay? And you're a scumbag, okay? And when you tweet out a play right after we talk about it or tweet it out on the BTL Twitter for a squad ride, we know you're taking our picks and we know you're watching our show, Bob, okay? Golly.
There are a lot of graphics and PODs that go out right in between the end of stream and graphic post. Got to get it out before.
Let's go Illinois under 56.5.
And
let's go Boston ML.
All right. Here we go.
They're winning that game. All right. Chat, 5 plays, 5 winners on this Friday night slate. Houston ML, Cincy ML, Illinois, Kansas ML. Sorry, Illinois, Kansas under 56.5. Me having to fake that team name, school name is throwing me off there. Boston ML, Miami, Philly over 9. 5 plays, 5 winners. The poll is up in the Twitch chat. Hurry up. Go, 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 go. Oh, work. Oh, work. Oh, work. Get those votes in, chat. Tonsils ML is there, Godson says. Okay. All right, get your votes in. Chat, 5 plays, 5 winners. Get your votes in the Twitch poll. Hurry up. Go, 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 go. Houston ML, Cincy ML, Illinois, Kansas under 56.5. Boston ML, and Miami, Philly over 9.
You know who's getting my vote
tonight. Get your votes in. I'm seeing a lot of this in chat. Can we do a college football squad ride for tomorrow? Can we do a squad ride for the weekend? Is that something you guys are going to want to do?
I feel like it's not the same if we just pick it, though.
I know it's 100% not the same. The reason why it has so much mojo, as Austin Powers would say, is because you guys pick them. We're just alley-ooping you the options, and it has not failed us yet. So that's kind of the issue, is how would we vote on it? And that's kind of my point. The reason why I like the squad ride so much, love you, Krabs. I clicked the wrong thing, but now I'm going to leave it up. But if you put another 5, put another S at the end of Illinois, the Commanders are going to get rocked on Sunday. Illinois. You don't know ball. The Commanders are winning. How about that?
And GG Survivor Pool.
How about that? Guys, I think the whole best part of the squad ride is that you guys vote for it and we take it, right? Getting you guys involved, having you guys pick the plays, right? I thought that was the best part. If you want us to do a squad ride on the weekends, obviously we could. You know we got winners we love. Let's just vote on Fridays. Vote right now. That's interesting.
Could be interesting.
We could vote right now. How late can we make Joshy to this date? I guess it's still 3 p.m. Eastern or 3 p.m. Central down there by you guys. Do you guys want to vote for our favorite plays of the weekend now? We could do that.
We should just do like an NFL squad ride, like for Sunday.
Yeah.
Just run one.
I feel like a lot of things could change though in between now and then.
Very true.
That's the scary part.
That is the scary part. A lot could change. Like there will be a point if we do that where somebody gets ruled out and we're going to.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, I mean, if we're taking Colts or plus 4.5, for example, and then Anthony Richardson randomly hurt and ruled out, and we're rocking with some guy off the street, but we already voted on it.
Now they're begging for a college one tomorrow. They're pivoting. They're putting
college one could be fine because that's right tomorrow. It would be good for that.
Stream's itching for college. All right, guys. How about this? How about we do this? And we'll start this up going forward for the rest of the football season. We'll vote for Saturday's squad ride on Fridays as well. Okay, because hopefully, fingers crossed, there won't be that many changes, and maybe we'll try to target more noon games. But I think that's okay. And maybe on Sundays, and you guys better be engaging with these tweets. Maybe on Sundays, Javon, we run a little poll on Twitter for the squad ride, and we do a little squad ride then. That way, we can decide the options the day of or the morning of, and that way we know we're getting good lines and good bets. How does that work, Chad? Does that play for you guys? And yeah, we will be doing some sweat streams on Sundays going forward, but they won't be like before the game start. You know what I mean? So it'll be tough to kind of vote. Does that sound like a good game plan? As Houston ML wins the squad ride, not really surprised there. I'm okay with that. Houston ML for the squad ride today, folks. We got that locked in. I think you guys sound pretty excited for that. Okay, we'll do that.
We'll do
guys,
that.
We'll do whatever the hell you guys want. Like we're running the stream for you guys. So yes, we will do that. And let's fire that up before we lose any more people in here. Houston ML for the squad ride today. Joshy, you got enough time for one more poll? Let's run one. I vote Nebraska +3.
I knew that
You
was
guys
coming.
wanted this. Now we're here.
I knew
Now
it
we're
was
here.
coming.
Now I get to choose to put in Nebraska. We got to put them in now. Straight up.
Yeah, we'll go ahead. They get to vote for it anyway.
You guys don't have to pick it. You can choose whatever you want. But it's going in there, you sons of guns. And you don't have a choice. It's in there. Okay. Nebraska +3. Book that shit. Javon, give me some more milk, brother.
Cal
else we got?
+6.
Cal +6.
Yeah, has to.
We've got UTSA spread.
Yeah, I can go in there too. Fine with that.
What are they at right now? Can you check for me?
What time is that game at?
It's like the middle of the day, Saturday, I think.
Middle of the day. They're at 14 flat.
All right. UTSA -14. There's one more Texas Tech. That's the one. That I was
Yeah,
thinking.
Texas Tech.
With a +6.
You can still get 6.5. It looks like most books.
Okay.
You can get
Well,
6.5.
I definitely love all four of these plays. Nebraska +3, Cal +6, UTSA -14, Texas Tech +6.5. Javon, what am I missing? What's your favorite play left off that?
Favorite play left. Probably Notre Dame.
Ooh.
I know that's a
Okay.
controversial one.
Okay. I'm definitely not betting NC State. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
I could get
Sean Murray
behind
does-
Notre Dame.
Or what about we could just get real gross and just put Sam Houston State in there?
Yeah, but
Or we could square up in the night slate and take the over in USC Stanford because they're scoring
no,
100
now
points.
we're getting further away from where we need to go. Let's go back to Notre Dame. No,
Are we? Are we though?
What about freaking? Where are they? What about Utah?
I mean, I'm taking UTEP, but it's not my favorite out of a bunch of what's left. If you want to put it in there, though,
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
Arkansas, Alabama, Bama under.
Bama under? I wouldn't be mad at that.
I like
No.
the Bama under. I'd be down to put that in there.
That is going to keep moving, though. I can only assume.
It's going to move
No.
down. You think?
I mean, it's already moved down like a field goal. I would
Well, you
assume
know
it's
what?
not
The
gonna
people
stop.
who are in chat, the people who watch BTL every day, the people who are still in here right now and haven't left, they get to lock it
Yeah.
in first.
Yeah,
And
why
then the
not?
people who follow behind the lines on Twitter, they get the notice. They get those posts in there. They get those bets in there first. That's on them.
Yeah,
Let's lock it in. All right, Chad, we don't need to draw this out any longer. It's been almost 2.5 hours. W stream today. Had to get something up there with the squad travel into Tuscaloosa. And we had to get a play in there for tomorrow, too. Let's run it. 5 plays, 5 winners, chat. Nebraska +3, Cal +6, UTSA -14, Texas Tech +6.5, and we'll go Texas, Bama under. And I believe that number is pretty consistently at 53.5 right now.
Correct.
Chad, 5 plays, 5 winners for the Saturday squad ride, the first of its kind. Let's freaking go. Let's go. You guys asked, we delivered. That's how we roll on BTL. All
That's
right,
what the
we do
people
this all for-
needed.
do this all for Lembaugh. Plain and simple. Okay. Get your votes in, folks. Yeah, I'm voting for Cal.
Got to. It's like the game of the year.
You're telling me we got 24 votes for Nebraska, the second most voted thing after you guys were crying in chat earlier about that game? Now I know that the ones who were quiet were the ones who were on my side. Okay, I
Yeah.
should never react to a couple messages in there. I should know that the 500 people in here, 400 of them are sharp and they get it, right? Crazy to see Nebraska getting that many votes. I'm surprised.
And I believe Daniel's asking if Sam Jackson's playing. I believe he is, but it really doesn't matter because
Okay.
Ben Finley looked just as good. So
Those children left chat anyways. Good point, Devin. You're
They
probably
did, yeah. They came in
Probably
for Surge stream and realized it wasn't you and started chirping. Or
It's
wasn't
honestly a good point. They're probably so pissed.
Yeah,
People out there really hate my guts, Javon. They do.
yeah, and yeah. This is
Oh, keep hating,
a
man.
revenge game. They're like best friends. So if you don't know, that'd be funny.
People forget.
Yeah, Sam
Little
Jackson.
revenge game
Peyton
narrative here,
Ford.
folks.
They had or not revenge technically, but their friends. They were posting about it all week. He's like, "Yeah, I turned my phone off. I blocked his number. It's game week." I was like, "Oh yeah, he's locked in. He's still locked.
He's dialed.
So
Huge. Could be the difference here, folks. Get your freaking college football Saturday squad ride votes in. Hurry up. Go, 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 go. Hurry up. Get your votes in, chat. There's no time. Hurry up. Get them in. It could be Calda. And I got no qualms with that, Javon. One bit.
Yep,
Zero qualms.
just
None.
the way I want it."
Zip, zilch. How about that? Appreciate you, Sigala in chat. You're a beast. Colts, thanks for the follow. Next Network, thanks for the follow. You guys are awesome. Appreciate the sub bangs as always. You guys are beasts. You know I love you. All right? I'll love you even more when I get to come on Monday and get to roast you guys for betting Colorado this weekend. You fools. How about that?
Unreal.
And we're going Cal Bears, folks. Let's go. Come on. The Cal Bears. We're hopping on the Javon's Milk College Football Future bandwagon, and I could not be more happy about it. Let's freaking go.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Javon, I have a message for you, Alex saying. Okay. Krabs, I sent you a Twitter DM of my pitch for 20 units on the Steelers. Holy smokes, old man, All-American. I'll tell you what,
You
I
win.
definitely lean that way, but I'm definitely a little concerned because they seem to be a little bit public at home. Javon seems to be thinking that as well. So not all these dogs are going to hit. My job is to figure out which ones are fake sharp and which ones aren't. You'll know which ones are the ones to take on Sunday when I drop my card. All right, guys, plain and simple. We will do a Sunday squad rides. I will post on the BTL Twitter early Sunday morning. All right, I'll get up at the ass crack of 8 a.m. I'll get that poll up. Me and Javon will craft up some plays we liked the night before, and we'll get you guys a poll to vote for the BTL squad ride on Sunday so we can keep the train rolling through the weekend. I fuck with that. I fuck with that idea. Okay?
No.
W's. Krabs, is the future caked if Colorado wins? Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, the future's probably kicked. Yep. Guys, I'm not an idiot. Okay? I didn't get up here just based off of just deploying stupid bets. I'm no fool. All right? I'm willing to accept that if Colorado wins this game this weekend, that win total's probably kicked. Yeah. But you know what? They still got to play the goddamn football game, Javon. And I'm excited. And if Nebraska needs a lineman or a tight end, I'm ready to roll if they need a guy. Play
Could
it.
be better than everybody on the Colorado D line. So
W's chat. Squad ride for tonight. Houston ML. All right, we got our best bets here below. Appreciate you guys sticking with us through this long-ass BTL episode. W's. We'll be back to normal schedule next week. Squad ride today, Houston money line. Squad ride tomorrow, Cal +6. Squad ride Sunday. Stay posted on the Book It Sports BTL Twitter account. We'll do a little vote there Sunday morning. Okay, folks. W's. WF, W Friday, BTL Fridays are the best days, Javon. Good shit today.
always is. Always
You
is.
absolutely carried for college football and MLB, as usual. Good work. Josh, thanks for running the BTL on the back end. And guys, we'll catch you on Monday. Same time, same place. We'll be seeing.